What's going on, everybody? It is Coach Greg Adams back in here with another YouTube live stream. Shout out to the Coach Gang.
And that's you.
For being in here, being involved, and being active on this YouTube channel. And welcome back to Monday Night Rawski. Raw's the Law. The longest running episodic program and live stream here on YouTube. You in here with the Bruce Wayne of this ish. The King of Kings, the King of Content, and the Speaker of Truth. Yours truly, the Notorious one, a.k.a. Mr. Coachellini. Better known as the prognosticator, Coach Stradamus. And you're in the Desert Storm bunker with none other than EWF. That is every woman's fantasy. But you can call me CGA, C God Allah, and I be the 14-time demonetized champion of YouTube. Still haven't found the main event bell. All right. Tells you what I was doing during my break. The 14-time demonetized. I knew it was right there. I was wondering where it was. Today, we got a show for you today. We're sitting down today until I fully get recovered. We'll be kicking it live in here to talk about the really ugly truth about divorce and how men need to proceed to recover if they are ever on the side of getting divorced. Great, the kingdom come. So we're going to give you the ugly data and why most men will be highly unlikely to ever financially recover should they experience a divorce. Now, all marriages and divorces are not the same, so there always are going to be some exceptions to the rule. I am an exception to the rule in the form of my ability to recover from said divorce, but there was a lot of long-ranging consequences and things that I had to dip and dodge to be able to maintain my position. A lot of distractions are going to happen. And if you have children, your divorce is going to be much, much different than a divorce without children. So these are the things that we're going to talk about. And we're going to do this to give some men some vital information. And as only one person can give you about the realities of getting married. A lot of people still have a dream to get married. And some women will prey on your instincts to have a good life together. You know, we had showed you a video early this morning of a man who, he said, I have not recovered from the trauma of my divorce. I haven't overcome the difficulties of going through a divorce, yet this woman's pressing him after 10 months of dating. All right. And she's an old, dusty, old Jasmine guy looking broad, and she's doesn't care. And so women will prey upon you with their own needs and desires to get married, and you're coming out of a marriage. We're going to give you some advice on how to proceed forward with that. But to contribute to today's show, $, the Notorious CGA on the Cash App. Venmo, Coach Greg Adams TV, and PayPal is paypal.me/Coach Greg Adams. And that is near the top of the description box on the Free Agent Lifestyle channel. And you can still super chat by clicking the link on the top of the live chat on the Free Agent Lifestyle channel. All right. So let me see if we can get those brothers taken care of. We got good some episodes in here that we need to get ahead of. And shout out to Paul, says good advice on parenting. That was from earlier today. And shout out to Jeff, the producer. New world order. Thank you, Jeff, for chiming in there again with the support. Appreciate you very much. Here, let me go ahead and venture over on. Oh, I clicked the wrong button on Venmo, and that's probably going to take me somewhere I don't want to go. Just trying to log in. All right, just jogging. No government name. Shout out to you. Okay, that was from earlier today as well. And most people are still just chiming in. Most people are just climbing into the stream. Like, Coach is here again. Yes, we're here and we're live.
We'll do it live. Okay. No. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Okay. Let's see here. I got to move this over. All right, let's see here. Okay, that was from earlier today. And then NGN says, yep, one of my mentors told me that if you have money or improve your life, get used to keeping your small circle. All right, and avoid people who don't have as much as you, even family. This advice has served me well as a Gen Zer. Yes, I always roll with people that have as much to lose as you do. All right, we give you manly advice here. And this is advice for survival. You know, when people don't have much, they'll tell you, don't be afraid to risk. Don't be afraid to risk. They'll tell you. You're like, I can't drive this particular car to the gas station. This is a $100,000 vehicle. Don't worry about all that. All right, you're like, okay, so how many $100,000 vehicles have you driven in this neighborhood to a gas station? Would you do it? Hell yeah, I'll do it, man. You worried about too much. All right. Always people ain't got shit to lose. You know what I mean? They don't have anything to lose, right? They don't have to go through the trauma, the stress, the potential robbery, the theft, the possible murder, the recovery, their insurance. Nigga, you worry about all that too much. All right, that's stop being paranoid. Yeah, nobody even thinking about you. You're like, all right, it's a weird reality. And it's like, they don't even have anything like that. Oh, you worry about too much. All right, don't worry about that. How many other people have you seen in this car at that gas station? Just worried about too much. These are type of people that don't have anything to lose. Again, when you're rolling with people that don't have as much to lose with you, that's how you fuck your life up. All right, because they don't care. They're only thinking about themselves. And, I had that advice given to me by a married man one time. He says, never cheat on a woman. Don't never cheat on your wife with a woman that doesn't have anything to lose. I was like, that's golden advice. And I'm not a guy that promotes cheating in marriages, but that's golden advice. So if the other person you're cheating with has nothing to lose, they'll fuck up your whole program. They don't care. All right. They'll mess up your whole goddamn program. Hopefully the stream stays up. All right. And they're like, whatever. All right. As soon as the relationship don't work, they'll blow up your shit. They don't got no marriage to lose. So, these are the things these are golden pieces of advice as manhood. This is why you got to roll with people who have just as much to lose to you as you, because they're not going to put you in dire straits. They're not going to put you in dire straits. They're like, I got some shit to lose too. We're not going to do no stupid shit out here. All right, man, don't worry about all that, nigga. Don't worry about all that. All right, they're not the one going to get stuck up. All right, anyway. Yeah, always cheat on if you're going to cheat on your wife, cheat on a woman that has just as much to lose as you, meaning like they got a job, they're going to lose. They got a house and home and kids, they're going to lose. Yeah. Don't cheat with no skeezer, hood rat bitch, a crackhead baby, because they ain't got nothing to lose. All right, let's see here. Let me refresh the screen. I think we can get into the meat and potatoes of the show. And what are we talking about here? I got to move some shit around. All right, let's do Doom and Gloom CGA. Let's do a quick one. Let's do a quickie. Doom and Gloom CGA. Brought to you by the New World Order here. Hey, speaking of the NWO here, apparently they've been busy today certifying the election, which January 6th, it is January 6th, the most, what do they call it? The most devastating day, bigger than 9/11, Pearl Harbor, slavery, January 6th. It's going on right now, January 6th. There's no insurrection going on by the Democrats. In fact, Kamala Harris is right now the first woman. She becomes the first woman in the United States history to certify her own electoral loss. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm proud to be an American. Oh my goodness, nothing gets me more excited than this shit right here. All right, this would have been a devastating world if Kamala Harris would have won. But let's take a live look. January 6, 2025, Kamala Harris has to certify her own loss. All right, let's go ahead and read this shit right here.
70. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
What? Why they cheering? All right. Yeah. All right. It's a beautiful day. Yes.
New world order.
All right. Shout out to them, man. Hey, man, that has to hurt, man. That has to hurt. Put her up there to certify her own L, man. That's a whole, thank God. All right. They said, hold that. And why did the other side jump up? You lost. All right. They're like, All right, man. Somebody said these people are in power. Yeah, it's a clusterfuck, man, if you know anything about things, man. But look, just imagine a world we lived in if Kamala Harris would have won. And we wouldn't have had this wonderful day to gloat and celebrate that person, yeah, that one woman right here, Miss Cackling herself, Miss Legs Up, Heels Up Harris, all right, the first sugar baby in charge. We're just happy that this didn't happen, and I'm definitely going to be happy no matter the turnout, the circumstances coming forward in our world today. I mean, there could have been
new world order.
This could have been catastrophic if Kamala Harris would have definitely took that dub. All right, but you guys went out there and you did your thing out here, and Kamala Harris is out here certifying her own demise, certified as L. First woman. She became the first woman for something, and there she is right there, certified. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how many other people have certified that L. Did Al Gore have to certify that L? I think Al Gore had to certify that L. I'm trying to just think who had to certify that L. But shout out to Kamala Harris becoming the first woman to do. Why did the other Democrat, why did they jump up when she certified her L?
Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Yeah, why they cheering? Why they cheering? I don't know why. All right. And somebody was confused as to why they said Florida. Well, that's where Trump is from. I know, it's a surprise. You would thought he would have been from New York, but his house is in Florida. And typically they tell you where they represent themselves from, but Trump is not a representative of any state. So he's not a politician, a career politician, a crook. All right. He's not a part of the swamp. So Kamala Harris is not literally from California. I mean, she's from everywhere but California, but she represents California as a senator. Donald Trump is not representing any state in particularly, but he is a resident of Florida. Not New York.
New world order.
All right, anyway, shout out to you right there. That's Doom and Gloom CGA. Thank goodness Kamala Harris is not president. She the president of these streets. All right, yes, she is.
In these streets.
She's the president of these streets. All right, let's see here. They were celebrating her L. They were like, yay. What? You lost. It'll be all right. I don't know what to tell them. They're just trying to be like, we can cheer for our person too. Well, at least they didn't have an insurrection, an alleged insurrection. I mean, at least there wasn't any violence today. No one chose violence. All right, let me make sure I got everybody that I need to get in, talk to here. We got somebody here that needs to talk. And let me see if I can say his name. All right, shout out to our brother here, Manny, Handy Manny, Manuel Gutierrez says, who got snaps on the Petro? He says, donate, you Mitch ass ninjas. Come on, brothers. I know they need to get, it's only 1,000. It's not even 1,000. But man, put some snaps on the Petro. Put some snaps on the Petro. You ain't black if you don't know what movie that came from, by the way. And Manuel, it's not even black, essay. And he knows what movie that came from. What movie is that from? I'm not a big movie buff. I don't watch movies. I definitely didn't watch movies when I was married. I watched a lot of kid movies. All right. You don't got time to watch regular movies and shit when you poor and married and got kids. So all the movies you watching is Cars and shit and Disney movies all over again. All right. But you ain't black if you don't know who got some snaps on the Petro came from. All right. Let me see if y'all know. Y'all don't know. All right. Boy, I tell you, man. I tell you, you youngins don't know a lot of things here. All right, shout out to you. Yes, it's Menace to Society. All right, shout out to MC8, Gia. All right, who got some snaps on the Petro? Menace to Society. It was Menace to Society. All right, so anyway, great film. I haven't watched those films in a long time. I'm going to watch those movies. Yeah, it was Menace. All right, shout out to MC8 and Compton's Most Wanted. All right, let's see here. I'm just trying to refresh the page and delay. All right, what do we got here? Shout out to Currency says, went solo to Las Vegas to celebrate New Year's and saw many couples arguing instead of having a good time. Yep, all on the boulevard, all on Las Vegas Boulevard, arguing. Okay. And of course, normally there's alcohol involved. So somebody's having a meltdown and they've got their panties in a bunch and they're like, you're doing this and you should have done. Imagine coming all the way from Kentucky to Las Vegas to argue with your beach right before fireworks. You staying up all late at night and you're just arguing over alcohol. Her mascara is running. Right. It's crazy. It's crazy, but a lot these relationships, man, I tell you, man, relationships are a funny thing. People only remember the good times in relationships. But, you know, things like that type of drama. And typically women will misbehave in public, right? So typically you're going to hear the worst of their shit, depending on the type of woman. You're going to hear the worst of their shit in public because that's when they can confront you, right? They can confront you in public. And then normally people are going to go, ooh. And then, they eat up that, ooh, she's talking shit on you, right? And people looking and she's, you're doing this. She's stomping her little feet. So what'll typically happen is she'll embarrass you, get some simp wolf whistlers and some support. And then you'll look like an idiot. 100%. All right. Next video is going to be... yeah, let's, I guess we could call this Straggle and Sniggle Theater. Let's call it Straggle and Sniggle Theater. All right, why not?
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right?
Straggle and Sniggle Theater. All right, we got this right here. This is fresh. I forgot to even show this guy earlier, but apparently this is Charlie Dixon. Pause. This is the individual with the situation with the Joy Taylor. There were several people named. We talked about Emmanuel Acho, and we talked about Skip Bayless. But apparently this is the guy, Charlie Dixon, who is allegedly accused of having an affair. I'm not sure if he's married, but this is the guy right there that was knocking down Joy Titty Taylors. All right. Shout out to Joy Titty Taylor going on right there with them titties out there. This is the man that was putting dick, pause, on Joy Taylor. Oh, no. Oh, no. And typical, man. And isn't Joy Taylor supposed to be a black woman? All right, she's a tragic mulatto, as I call her. All right, but let's just call her a black woman. Okay, I'm telling you, black women love the bed winch for white men. White men that look like Barney Rubble. I mean, bed winching, bed warming, bed winching ass Joy Titty Taylor. All right, look at this Negro here. He's married. Of course he married, and he tried to keep this shit under wraps. Of course he married, because that's what executive vice presidents are for corporations. And look at this. And this dude said right here, remember, you're just broke, fellas. This is the guy, Charlie Dixon, who was knocking down fine-ass Joy Taylor. Lord have mercy.
I'm going to the streets. End of story.
Look, he looking like Fred from Scooby-Doo. What I always tell you, ninjas, is, man, she not out of your league. She just out of your price range. Oh, the humanity. She not out of your league. She just out of your price range. Look at this ninja, man. Oh, my goodness. What is going on with his corporate-ass haircut? And is those frosted tips? Oh, my Lord. And hit it raw. And nutted in her. And he did it. He gonna lose his job now because his family devastated right now. Let me see if they got some pictures of this ninja right now. Let me see here of his family. Hopefully they don't have his kids shown here. Let me see here. Oh man. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Do they have a picture? Oh, ooh, yes, he is married. Okay, we do have a photo of one. They have marked his kid's face off, so we're going to go ahead and pull it up here. All right, they have marked off his kid's face. There he is, and there's his wife. Oh, no. Oh, the humanity. He do look like Fred from Scooby-Doo. Oh, shit. All right, there he is, and there he is. Honey, I'm home, ass ninja. knocking down Joy Titty Taylor. He probably was dookie on her, too. I would have dookied on her. All right, because you know these niggas like these white dudes like this got some crazy fetishes. You know, because they ain't got, well, I can't tell you what he got between his legs, but they got, you know. He was probably dookieing on her and all that. All right, treating her like pure smut, garbage. Spitting down her throat, all that. He looked like the type of ninja to spit down her throat. 100%. All right, my goodness, man. And look at this guy right there, wife and 2 kids. And he over there dicking down Joy Taylor. Charlie Dixon right there. So, again, as I always tell you, she not out of your league. She just out of your price range. Yep, he probably was snorting coke off the booty. Right? The booty hole, all that. He do look like Fred from Scooby-Doo right here. He does look like him dead on in this picture. All right, yo. And she probably was just enjoying it. He slapping her meat across her chin. All that shit. Raw. All right? Raw. Right down the gullet. I'm going to just let you know.
It's barbecue in there.
Right down the gullet.
It's barbecue in there.
This is all alleged, by the way. We're all saying this is alleged. Hey, and look at his face. He looked guilty as a motherfucker, and that's his picture. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you, man, you brothers don't realize when I tell you this game is it's pay for play out here. It's quid pro quo. The shit ain't never been no different. So if she's sleeping her way to the top, Joy Titty Taylor sleeping her way. Look at who banged her out, bruh. Oh, hell no. Look at who banged your girl, your sister out. He probably was, He probably was doing the nastiest shit to Joy Titty Taylor. I love that name, by the way. Titty Taylor. That sounds like a good name for her. And she looked like she liked white men. You know what I mean? She be claiming, and that ninja Emmanuel Acho talking about she a black woman. I mean, listen, I ain't got nothing against people calling themselves black. I mean, that's cool. She mulatto. And ain't nothing wrong with being a mulatto. Ooh-wee. Goodness gracious. Watch out, brothers. This is cold world out here. All right. I guess this is not part of Straggle and Sniggle Theater. Nah, I'll make it a part of Crime and Law. Well, fuck it. All right, that's what we'll do. I don't know what we're doing tonight.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right?
This is rough out here. It's rough. It's rough being me. All right, put some snaps on the Petro. Let's see who put some snaps on the Petro. Says, Hugh Jazz says, I have a child support modification hearing coming up to lower my payments from $800 a month. I have a lawyer to help me. What should I watch out for as I expect the mother to contest this? Thank you very much for that question. This is your time if you're going through some issues with divorce, child support. I haven't forgot you, brothers. All right, just because I got done with my case doesn't mean I can't help you, brothers. So this is your opportunity to send me some questions related to this particular field. Well, first and foremost, if you're going through a child support modification hearing, if you are working through your child support services office, please understand that they will probably be handling much of the deal if she doesn't have a lawyer. So they're going to probably get in contact with you and ask for 2 years back taxes, income declaration of income, a statement at least, and make sure your shit looks good. If your W-2 is pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. If you're asking for her income and expenses, well, technically hers may not matter because you're looking for a change. There has to be a material change, meaning a change in custody or a change in employment. Your employment would have to be significantly reduced or whatever it is. Hers would have to significantly change, and you would have to have proof of that. But if you're not W-2 and you're 1099, which would be a blessing to you, then you can sort of make up whatever it is that you need to make up. If you do have tax returns and they ask for them, well, it's up to you to provide them if you would like, right? They're not going to subpoena any damn thing. So there's that. If she's working through child support services, they're not gonna give you any information about her and what she claims until you get there at the hearing. And yeah, that's pretty much the straightforwardness. If you're not working through child support services, then you have a lawyer. Your lawyer should be able to. Here's the thing with the lawyers on the child support. You really screwed either way, because they're gonna make some money off of you. It would have been child support money that you would have paid to the wife or the ex-wife, but you probably don't want to give her any money. So you're going to just give it to lawyers. I've done that several times. I've represented myself sometimes when I've done that. So I get it. You're like, bitch, you ain't getting a dime. But you would hope that it gets lowered based on some material change. But now that you have a lawyer, it's kind of like you're going to pay that money anyway. And you better hope the lawyer definitely has your interest in heart, which most of the time they don't. And they may be able to argue a point here and point there that will save you some money. If she has a lawyer, you guys are just burning money up. Earning money. All right. But, I wish you the best on that one. There's only thing that I can say is, and when you go into that hearing, do not react to any bullshit. If they don't have proof of something, and they say some shit, don't say nothing. Don't react. When I was in there and I have a lawyer, I don't say nothing. I'll be in there like this. Right here. No reaction, no nothing. And sometimes if they have a lawyer or child support services, they'll try to say something to trigger you. I'll just be like, and then when the hearing's done, close the book, log off Zoom, or I'll walk out the courtroom. All right. So, okay, that's it. Walk out. I don't say shit when I have a lawyer. So if she starts saying that you make money under the table and you bought cars and you went the trips on vacation, don't say nothing. Don't even flinch. Don't even acknowledge anything she's saying. Your Honor, she lying. Well, as soon as you acknowledge it, now it's up for debate. So don't say anything. Yep, that Martin Lutherly. Just look. Don't even look at her. My advice is she don't even exist. Okay? Your attorney's supposed to answer all that shit. And if your attorney kicks it back to you, you look at them and say, you supposed to get that answer. All right. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. I'll have to get back. But sometimes your attorney will kick back a question to you because the attorney doesn't know how to answer it. And they know you probably fudging some shit. So your attorney will look at you and say, you better prepare me if you're trying to kick a question over for me back from the commissioner or the mediator here. But the biggest piece of advice is to just go in there and don't react to anything. She start claiming shit and her attorney saying she's just a single mother trying to survive. Act like you didn't hear that shit. If she was a single mother trying to survive, she'd be in there actually trying to make amends with you to get proper support than doing this bullshit. So you guys got to realize that it's really a game. It's a fucked up game that you have to go through. But it sounds like you're trying to lower the payments. And like I said, the only way they get lowered if there's a major material change, like a change in custody or a change in job status. If you can prove that, then you will be good. Like if you're taking her in and saying, well, she got another job, that's going to be tough for you to prove. She got another job. Okay, where is it? How much does she make? And then they're going to kick it to her. Yeah, I did get another job, but my income didn't go up by that much. All right, it ain't going to get lowered. It's not going to get lowered. So you better have some proof of her income going up significantly. Like she went from 70K to 150K. And you can prove that. And she's filed taxes in relationship to that. Like that would be almost the only way you'd be able to get over on that one. All right, but if you think she got another job or a second side job, she drives Ubers, You might get fucked over on that. Since she drives Ubers. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you might get fucked over on that one. All right. So I don't know what your situation is. Again, one thing's about these divorces and custodies that every situation is different. So you guys got to realize that not all situations are the same, but the system is the same for sure. All right. Thank you for that question. Hopefully that helped. All right. Shout out to our brother. Let's see if I can say your name. I know you were going by a different name, but we'll say no government name. He says, I'm on the road and had to pull over to laugh at Big Titty Joy Taylor. All right. Big Titty. It's Joy Titty Taylor. All right. That's who it is. He says, bitch took an L and didn't put nobody on. Light-skinned women be crashing out for little to nothing. Also, this H every day. All right, so there it is right there. I knew you were a different name. H every day, your business portal. He says, I get all kinds of dollars. Appreciate you, H every day. I knew I never said your name live, but I've seen that name before. H every day said, light-skinned women out here catching L's. And has Joy Taylor responded? She hasn't even responded to this. I mean, she's not supposed to respond. All right. And my brother Manuel says his real name is Charlie Dixon Cider. All right. Is that his real name? Oh, my goodness. Charlie Dixon Cider. All right. Is that a Simpson joke? It is a Simpson joke. All right. Shout out to you. Charlie Dixon might be the biggest legend. Charlie Dixon Cider might be the legend of the week. All right, look at this ninja right here. All right. That might be the legend of the week. Charlie Dix Insider. All right, but for sure. Because look, I hope he don't get fired for his job right here. Please don't get fired for this, man. She was the one trying to Me Too yo ass. Ooh-wee. Charlie Dixon Cider. All right, pause. Where we got here? We got our brother. Is this Maryland guy? Maryland guy has something to say. He says, hey, coach, hope you had a good time in Brazil. That being said, that tour guide you had a set of headlights on her. Holy cow. Did you do the 52-point inspection on her? Yeah, she had some knockers on her, man. Those things were the humanity. Oh, the humanity. Now, I'm not a big knocker fan, although, Joy Titty Taylor, I want to see them knockers, but I know they saggy. I'm not a big titty guy because they very disappointing. Titties are always disappointing. They're almost always disappointing. When you're young, titties are everything. You're like, oh, her titties are out. But when you get older, you're like, oh, these old sloppy, soggy, saggy-ass waggies. All right, they look good. I always tell young dudes, when you see them titties lifted and they just hella jiggly like this, you know them things going to be knee slappers. Them shit going to be terrible when they get out. Terrible. All right, when them things let loose and you turn her around and you see it, she got that push-up bra and the cone like this. It's tilted like this, and that titty just up in there jiggling like this. And you turn her around and you be like, hook, it's like 8 hooks on a bra. You can't just do the pinch. All right, you got to do 8 hooks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that cup start lowering like that. Them knee slappers gonna come out. And them things gonna be, You gonna be like, oh no. I mean, you're gonna have fun with them for a minute, but you're gonna be like, oof. Areola all deflated, like. All right. All deflated, nipple all poked over to the side, like. You like, oh my Lord. Just when them things. Oh, the humanity. All right. Them things gonna be all out to the side like this. She lay on her back. Them shit's gonna be over her shoulder, like choking her. You gonna be like, God damn, these some ugly ass titties. Especially the ones with The areola that just be all spread out like it's got shot by a shotgun. It's dark in the middle and it just be spread out all on the titty, stretch mark all on it. You be like, oh, this is going to be a nasty one too, man. Ain't no firmness to it. It just be like, they getting all in the way. You know what I mean? You like, let me spread these things out. They just be laying on the side like, all right, anyway. You're like, this is just, all right. But, yo, they look good in the shirt. Most titties look good in the shirt. He said, those are my favorites. Y'all some nasty boys, Brad.
Oh, that's nasty.
Y'all some nasty, nasty boys. Y'all like them sloppy, messy titties. Oof. They always kind of, you never know what you getting. You just be super excited, like, oh, man, I can't wait to see these. Every now and then they be excited, like, oh, those are nice. Right? But, you know, when you young, they all nice. Then you got the flat-chested girls, all right, that be wearing nothing but cups. You know what I mean? You be like, them things look like a nice little softball. You be like, they perfect. You know, she's sitting there in her shirt. They be wearing tight shirts, and you know what I mean? They be having a bra, and it'd be a perfect round cup. You be like, ooh, wait, I like that. You be like, I'm about to grip. Start taking that shirt off. You get to that bra, and if the bra strap is hella low on the middle of their back, you already know these going to be some flat-chested. And you get up to the, boop, you get that finger, twip, and them fucking bra come out, you be like, where did they go? And it was all cup in there. It was just all bra cup. No titties was in there. And you was like, oh. Mosquito bites. And be like, all right, I can do something with this. Let me see. Come here. We tune in real quick. We can do something with these. All right. All right, anyway. Yep, it's all cutlet. They got to take that little cutlet from under there and shit. You're like, all right, man, fuck it. All right, we about to have some fun. These raising titties and shit. You be like, let's get these 3D titties right here. All right, anyway. You know, you never know what you're going to get. That's the best part is when you unwrap it. Now, you know, I like a flat-chested woman. I don't mind a flat-chested woman. I actually like I prefer them flat-chested more than a big, I don't need no big old, nah. Not the big. I'll take mosquito bites over them big soggy ass woggies. I can't take them saggy waggies. All right. It's just too much. They hot. It's all hot. They be sweating in the middle of it. You got to be moving them out of the way. All right. Let me get on top. I'll take the flat-chested ones all day. All right. Anyway. But you never know. It's always a great, you know, you never know. You're like, ooh, wee, I can't wait to see them. And then they come out and you're like, all right. Let me see here. I like mine. Somebody said perky. Do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm just wasting time. I'm waiting for y'all niggas to donate so I can read. All right. Shout out to our brother here. Raheem says, 2 questions. What does JUCO mean? And who would you recommend that gives good advice on getting my life in order? I'm single with no kids and plan to keep it that way. Who would you recommend that gives good advice? Me. All right, but the JUCO means, essentially it just means older men, younger women typically. All right, but now it's transitioned more into the monetized dating marketplace. So that's what it means, the monetized dating marketplace. All right, shout out to the dating coaches. Still talking about, man, somebody sent me a debate between Lucario, shout out to Mr. Lucario, and some white dating coaches. And then Steve the Dean, my boy, jumped in there. And then it was my other brother, Mr. 1950, jumped in there. And they was going on and on about direct approach and indirect. And I was just like, oh, boy, I can't even. All right, but if the junior college means JUCO. But, yeah, join Locals, CoachRegAdams.locals.com. We talk about the monetized dating marketplace. And if it's a place for you, if you're single, no kids, free agent lifestyle for life. It is what it is. It is what it is there. Thank you for that question. Mm-hmm. Can a 38-year-old man start over after divorce? Yes, sir. We're going to talk about that. But you're going to have to really tighten up here. And when we talk about JUCO, do not go to an actual junior college. Although you can, but I don't think you need to. There's rules at the JUCO. Pug Dad says, I bet that lady filing the lawsuit will have some audio recordings of some kind of what she's alleging. And it says, imagine if she shows some evidence of Joy Taylor saying she'll make up a story saying the VP forced himself on her after sleeping with him for years to further her career. Now, you would think that what she's saying, she has some hardcore evidence of. And if it comes out that she does, what should the repercussions for Joy Taylor be? I mean, that would be a disgrace if she's on record saying, I'm going to use this as an advantage against him by saying she has the power in the relationship, which indeed she does. But now it doesn't matter. So, my goodness, that would be great. Yeah, don't go to a junior college. You used to be able to go to a junior college and take some classes and then meet some youngsters there. Shout out to Freedom Podcast. Salute, Coach. Thanks for all that you do. Welcome back. Thanks for showing the free agent lifestyle. That's motivation. Wishing you health. And shout out to the Coach Gang. Wishing everybody health in the Coach Gang. And health is wealth. Right now, I'm experiencing that right now. Let's get back to this part of the show. Apparently, there's a guy out here. Let's call this an evil world we live in right here.
It's an evil world we live in.
Speaking of custody shit, there's a prophet, a church pastor. I don't know what to really call this guy. His name is E.J. Newton, but they call him Prophet E.J. Newton. Now, you already know when I see Prophet E.J. Newton, I'm already suspect. This got to be some Atlanta shit. Okay, but Prophet E.J. Newton detained during church service in alleged parental kidnapping case. All right, so again, when we talk about divorce, it's very lethal. The toy soldiers will be used against you in these proceedings. This is where it gets tough, and you have to be mentally strong to survive. It doesn't matter if you're rich and famous, if you're a church pastor or whatnot, or an average everyday hard hat, or a white collar worker, you still gonna get this work in the family court. And it says popular prophet E.J. Newton was detained during his church service as part of a parental kidnapping case. They do have some video here, so let's go ahead and tune into the video.
Look at your neighbor quickly and touch their mind. Everything okay?
Oh, the humanity.
Harry, is everything okay there? Is everything
Oh,
okay?
the humanity.
All right, the popo's outside.
Sorry? Come in to speak to you for a second. Absolutely, absolutely. I'll be right back, church. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Okay.
No worries, no worries. You guys just pray.
Okay. Can the man do it? He's doing his church service right now. Like, is this called for? I tell you, some of these custody cases and the child family, the child support and the custody cases, they are literally trying to embarrass you. And the mother does not care. All right. And something's going on here. I tell you about these Amber Alerts all the time. These are just baby mama terrorists doing what they do. She knows it's Sunday or Saturday, whenever he's doing his prophet services. Why are we conducting this type of thing here? Okay, this is crazy. This is crazy. But now they got him taking a pause during his church ceremony. Let's see what else happens here.
Pray.
They speaking in tongues now. Oh, Lord.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, man. Jim Jones Kool-Aid being dished out.
Do you mind coming down and speaking with us for a second?
Sorry?
Do you mind coming down and speaking with us for a second?
Speak to you for a second.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, man. This is his kids. Like, this is crazy. Listen, I mean, you can say whatever you want about people's faith. All right, but this is pathetic. Like, come on, man. Everybody's having their ceremonies. They're honoring their God. They're praying 5 times to the east. Whatever they're doing here, why are they doing this? This is just the classic humiliation tactics that they do against you to get you to bow down to them. All right. And so you see him. He start bowing down. Yes, sir. I'll come talk to you, man. Fuck you. I'm doing my church service. Kiss my ass. All right. Nah, man. Fuck that. You wait. You wait till I'm done. Don't come up in my church. And whoever these police are or whoever these child protective services people are, they ought to be ashamed of themselves for doing this in church, in whatever religious ceremony they're in. That's a disgrace.
Thank you.
I'll be right back, church.
Sorry for the interruption, everyone.
Sorry for the interruption. Really? You could have waited. You could have waited.
No worries, no worries. You guys just pray. Pray.
You see me on stage talking? Like, come on, bruh. They got the police all busting up in there like he did something. You know this is a custody case. It has nothing to do with any kidnapping. This is the baby mama terrorist. All right, what a shame, man. This is shameful behavior by everybody, but it's the baby mama terrorist doing this shit, winding up her toy soldiers because she in a pissy fit. A pissy fit. All right, that's crazy. And he's got to stop the service, all what he's doing. This is a disgrace. All right, but there's no holes barred here. I was trying to find more video of these prophets, and apparently this is what I came up with. I'm not sure if this is the exact service, but Ninja, what the fuck is this? I was trying to find out what he was doing up here, but oh no.
Hey, yo, chill, son. Hey, yo.
I can go twice as high.
Oh.
It's an evil world we live in.
I don't know if this is the same guy, but what in the world is this, Ninja? I'm like,
What the hell? Oh, my God. No way,
Oh, the humanity.
what in the walking reading rainbow is this? Oh, not on the knees, nigga. Oh, no. Oh, man, I tell you, man, what in the hell is this?
What the hell? Oh, my God. No way,
What church? I was trying to find some information on these prophets, man, and this is apparently, let me get the name of these guys. I don't think they're connected. Prophet Passion. Is this a Prophet Passion? Oh, no. Ninja, what?
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, shit. Them ninjas gonna put a curse on me, man. This has definitely got to be Atlanta. Oh, my Lord, man. The church, is this the church? What church is this? They're just like, that ain't the Christian church, coach. Don't start in on the Christians. All right, I won't start in on the Christians. All right, let's get that back to Prophet EJ Manuel. But apparently, let's get some details here. Oh, there, I have some more video. He is in Miami. Okay, so we do have some more video here, camera footage. The police are trying to get him to shut off the footage. All right, no, man. No. You making a public spectacle of this? We recording this. Where's the volume? All right, they don't have volume. Now she want to step in front of the camera. No, why you making it private? You made it public already. All right, look at this. Get your ass out of the way. And they got the police all in his church service, man. This is an absolute disgrace. And it says right here, this happened during service. There he is right there. He does have a Instagram. All right, let me see what happened. It says this happened during the service. I have been secluded by the police, not allowed to leave. The moment I stepped off stage, our online service was flooded with false allegations. They, the same people who recruited my ex-wife, are now working together. They have my ex-wife claiming that I'm trying to flee the country in the middle of the parenting schedule case, a judge granted an emergency extraction. Okay. They had people come also into the service, which we spotted. This whole thing has been so weird, but let me be clear. I am not fleeing. I never plan to go anywhere. Now they're searching members' cars and preventing them from leaving church grounds, he wrote in a lengthy post. All right, so there's the post right there. Elsewhere in the caption, Newton suggests that speaking up against occultism and witchcraft in the church was the true reason for him being raided. However, blogger Larry Reed claimed that Newton's ex-wife accused him of kidnapping their children by failing to return them following a visit. Reed also confirmed that the church members were forced to remain inside the building until Newton's children, along with their passports, were returned safely to the mother. All right, so there is the real story right there. And, you know, I don't know anything about the details, but this is the ugly side of divorce. We don't know who's right or wrong. I don't have a side to take. I also know that he's probably least likely to do something like this. And, or let's just say this. Let's say the mother was looking to move the kids. And he, the pastor or the prophet, called up whoever they called up. Hey, I think my baby mama's about to leave and take my kids and passport. Guess what? Nothing would happen. Nobody would move a fucking inch. The judge would not even grant any goddamn thing. Neither will the police even do anything. They wouldn't even bust up to her customer service job to stop her from leaving. All right. That's the reality. Women can just up and take the kids, and then you got to fight to go find the kids and get them back. But she goes in there, files an order, gets the goddamn police to show up with 8 police officers, bust up in your church service, and then they stop the whole show. They keep all the people in the church. One dad allegedly trying to move the kids. Mothers move the kids all the time, and nobody does shit. Like, tell me if I'm lying. When was the last time you saw the police trying to stop a mother from taking some kids and moving them around? But when you're dealing with these issues, unfortunately, you're dealing with custody battles. These are ugly issues, and when you're trying to solve it in the middle of it, there's no solving it. There's no changing the laws. A lot of people get hyper vigilant about changing the laws related to these custody battles. In the middle of custody battles, the law is the law. You engaged in the procreation of children in the United States, and these children belong to the state. So once this time it comes, you know, I know you're like, we should do something about changing these laws. It's not going to do anything at this particular point. You have to make a stand by making a choice whether you want to do this or not. Roll the dice. But we know where we're up against, right? You know what you're up against. Speaking of children, I want you to hear this out. Again, you're rolling the dice against American women or Americanized women or feminism. Feminism has told women, in my book, The Evolution, that women can have it all, or at least they can have some parts of life at different parts of their life. They can have their early 20s as a party time before their brainstem develops. Then they can get married after they start their career and buy their 1-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhome. Then they can have a family. Then they can return back to either work or these streets or do whatever they want, right? You're hoping that you find, if you haven't been married or have kids, you're hoping that you can find a woman that wants to raise the kids and not have you taking your time off to equally parent, right? Where she's not, I'm not going to raise these kids all by myself. Okay, well, who the fuck going to raise them? You are, you know, and you're just like, oh boy, this is going to be a clusterfuck. Because then you're going to have to figure out how to balance your work and your life and family life balance. And also be held against the standard of you got to support the family income-wise. Like you got to pay at least 70% of the bills. There's no 50-50. There's no 50-50. So then when you don't have as much as your neighbor has, she's going to be frustrated about that. How come we don't go on vacation 3 times a year? Oh, well, because we're partners, right? You would have to pay half of those vacations. Well, Thomas pays for his vacations. Well, we got a 50-50 relationship. You make just as much money as me. All right. Well, what's your situation looking like? All right. Do you have enough money to go on vacation? No. And no, we're not putting it on the credit cards. So listen to this video. Listen to this video. If you are thinking about rolling the dice with the modern Americanized woman, and we have a Ling here, a condescending Ling. Listen to these two brilliant minds talk about having kids, not just the regret of having kids, but the regret of having kids and then returning back to a life that they previously had before you had kids with them. And this one says you can feel both. Oh, just wait till you hear this, guys. These are your future wives. Here we go.
So many girlfriends that are like, I love my kid, but I still want my life from before I had my kid. I want to work even more now that I've had a kid because I realize being a full-time mom is fucking hard.
There has been this weird stigma around women who decide to not have kids.
Yeah.
I've been seeing it much more normalized now. On TikTok, I've been seeing all these videos where people are saying, I had kids and I love my kids, but if I could go back and do it over, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
And that's something that was so taboo to say, and it's super controversial. People are so scared if they do feel that way to actually say that out loud, but it's a real feeling that people actually have. Why is that so horrible to talk about? Doesn't mean you don't love your child, of course. You would never give them back.
It's not like you have to regret it to say, hey, if I knew what I was in for, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
You're going to say, but coach, those are just those two women. I tell you, man, I've been telling you a long time, you don't know who a woman is until you marry her. When you marry her, you still don't know who she is till she has children. So when she has children, she's going to start approaching her final form. Okay, and that's after those children are like 5, 10, 12, 18. Then she's going to be in her final form. So look at this constant changing of the mind. You got to remember, you're married to this. Just imagine you're married to one of these women. You roll the dice. We in love. She's 26. You're 28. She's 24. You're 26. And you're sitting up here going, man, coach, we're such in love. You don't understand. And whammo, she's 36. Maybe 38, got a couple of kids, and she's like, I'm going back to work. I want my old life. I used to be single and free. I miss my younger years. Classic bait and switch. I missed out on my younger years. What do you mean you missed out on it? Well, I was all married and having kids. Okay. Now I want to go back out there and go party.
In these streets.
And snort coke and smoke weed. And you're like, yeah, but you're a mom. Well, I'm not just a mom. I was going to be executive vice president of the corporation in 10 years had I not been knocked up and got married. You're like, you're like, well, we're here now. So you're knocked up and married and have kids and you're a mom. What do we do now? All right, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have it all. I'm going to have a promising career. I'm going to have fun. They be watching Sex in the City and shit. And they be going to Abu Dhabi, just getting crazy. They going to nightclubs with their 40-year-old titties out there, all right, with their mommy makeover. And you're just like, wow. And now you're at home because you're just plugging away to try to keep this ship. All right, you're trying to keep the ship from sinking. She don't realize this. Let me just tell you, women lack complete awareness in relation to this. In relationship to this, they don't realize how much you're doing to keep the ship afloat. You're not causing any ruckus. You're just trying to you're not trying to rock the boat. You're like, God damn, she don't even realize. Like, I could pull the plug and fuck all this up. I could have this bitch broke. All right, I could break her right now, but you're not. You're trying to keep the kids. All right, so she out going to girls' night out every Thursday and Friday, and you at home just like, damn. Right? Babysitting your kids. And if you say that, you're not babysitting your kids, you're stepping up and being a parent. And you literally keeping this shit afloat like, damn, I can rock this bitch's world. Give her a reality check, because if you pull the plug and let's just say you guys divorce, which men don't divorce in these situations because they know they're going to get screwed. But if you pull the plug and divorced her, she'd be broke and homeless. She'll be homeless. And she will be homeless because when she files for divorce, she's going to be broke. Right? That's what, and she's going to fight you tooth and nail for any semblance of financial support to keep her lifestyle up. Even the little financial support that you're going to give her that she's entitled to, she's going to want more so she can go out and go on trips, vacations, and go party. But then you're going to find out if she does file for divorce, what she's going to say is, well, I'm a mom. She's going to go back and say she's a mom. Well, I'm a mom, and I had to take off my career to be a mom. Then she's going to want custody time to be a mom. And you're like, wait a minute. Before this, you wanted to go out there and party. Remember she said in the clip, I wanted to go back and have the life I had before I had kids. That's what she went to do. Then it caused a divorce, and now she's like, but I'm a mom. See, here's the thing. You're battling with the demon. You're battling with the demon, and she doesn't even know if she's coming or going. They even admit this, talking about their mental health, their postpartum depression. They don't know if they're coming or going. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. In their mind, it makes sense. But from the outside looking in, she cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She just don't understand it. So she's trying to figure out who she is. She's having an identity crisis. They say the man's having a identity crisis. No, she's having an identity crisis. She doesn't know how to define herself. Is she a mom? Is she a career woman? Is she a party girl? Who the fuck is she? She wants to be all of it. And then she wants to flip back and forth at will. Just flip the page. She wants to be a 50-50 partner and then have you be in most support. She wants to be motherfucking bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan. Then she wants to be Susie Homemaker. All right. So she going crazy. And in our world, when you're married to her, you're basically got to negotiate with this terrorist. And she ain't thinking about anything long term. She's just thinking about her feelings every fucking single day. And if she's combining this with any recreational drug use or alcohol, you're really battling a demon. If she's engaged in any party lifestyle, coca use, marijuana use, drugs and alcohol, you're fucked because you cannot negotiate with someone who's not sober. If she's taking any mental health medication, she's not sober. If she's threatening to delete herself in order to take command of conversations, she is a terrorist. This is a demon, and you will find that you're going to be dealing with this. All right. And then she has access to what? All the toy soldiers. Everybody in law enforcement, everybody in child protective services. And she has access to all these people. And she's going to have all these toy shoulders wounded up based on her motherfucking erratic life and lifestyle. Now, I'm going to tell you, man, press a 1 in the chat. I know this wasn't the girl you married. This wasn't the girl you couldn't keep your hands off of. Press a 1 in the chat if you've experienced this. Just so these men know that I'm not making this up. Now, in the world, the way the world works, let's tell you the way the world works. The way the world works is you fucked up. You're the bad guy. This is how the world works. It's you who fucked up, sir. It's you that couldn't balance this act. It's you that couldn't figure this out. It's you that wasn't hitting it right. It's you that wasn't doing the chores. It's you, despite the fact that you had. Now, shout out to the guys that had drug and alcohol problems. You guys are fucked up, all right? So you fucked up your own boat. But you weren't drinking. You weren't going out there and partying. You weren't possibly with the work husband fucking in the back of the goddamn storage room. You weren't out there with an identity crisis. You weren't out there with mental health. But guess what? When you go to court, they're going to tell you to go to anger management. They're going to tell you to go to mental health. They're going to go tell you to go to therapy. They're going to tell you because she's Queen Petty and she's going to document and keep receipts on every goddamn thing. And you just going to go in here and say this bitch crazy. You're going to be like, man, I don't know what's going on. She tripping. And it's going to cost you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. We're going to talk about that later. But I want to play this video again, just so you can see what you're up against out here. And, oh, by the way, when I tell you that this is what women watch on TikTok, other than the other crazy shit that they watch Okay. This is what your wife, the one that you're going to have in check, is going to be watching while you're at work, while she's at work, while she's scrolling and you're watching the football game and she's steaming. You're going to wonder why she has the ideas in her head that she has. And this is the shit that they watch. By the way, let me see if I can show you this. 9,000 likes and a bunch of comments from a bunch of women right here. Okay. A bunch of, look. All right, hold on for a second.
So many girlfriends that are like, I love my kid, but I still want my life from before I had my kid. I want to work even more now that I've had a kid because I realize being a full-time mom is fucking hard.
There has been this weird stigma around women who decide to not have kids. Yeah. I've been seeing it much more normalized now. On TikTok, I've been seeing all these videos where people are saying, I had kids and I love my kids, but if I could go back and do it over, I wouldn't do it. Right. And that's something that was so taboo to say, and it's super controversial. People are so scared if they do feel that way to actually say that out loud, but it's a real feeling that people actually have. Why is that so horrible to talk about?
Why is that so horrible? Why is that so horrible to talk about? Let me give you from the male perspective. Because number one, they're not thinking about men. In all of this, they talk about the children and themselves. Where's the husband? The husband or the baby's father is nowhere in this conversation. And I want you to think about that. Have you heard about the husband? Now, this is a short clip, so I don't know. But they're talking about them and what they want. They're talking about the kids and how they feel about the kids. They're not even really considering the kids. They're not talking about the husband. You're not in this discussion. You don't have ovaries. You don't have a pussy, and you did not deliver those kids, so you don't motherfucking matter. As far as they're concerned. Why is this so horrible to talk about? Because some guy just laid down his fucking life and put himself up against the family court for this bullshit to happen. Because, yeah, what man wants to hear this shit? What father wants to hear this? What husband wants to hear this shit? What husband that just going like, I got to survive, 50 years with this? Who wants to hear this? Some bitch talking about, oh, I don't know, man. Why can't we have both? Why isn't this not discussed? Because you're a selfish broad. That's why. You crazy. Because you're selfish. Nobody wants to hear this shit. But, of course, here's a podcast. And, lots of women identifying with this. And, yeah, this is some white woman shit, too, man. I'm telling you. They don't know who they are. They're having an identity crisis. By the way, this is what they ask for. I always imagine having a family and being married and kids, and then they get it, and they're like, well, I don't know. You're like, what do you mean you don't know? Well, I can't put them back. It's not like that. I don't love them, but, of course, I want my body back, and I want to go travel and go on vacation and shit. Yeah, but we got married. Well, you can do both. Not really. You can't do both. They always like trying to figure out how they can do both. You can. I know somebody that did it. Comparing their lives to others. Comparison is a thief of joy. They're really unhappy people. Unhappy people.
Doesn't mean you don't love your child, of course. You would never give them back.
It's not like you have to regret it to say, hey, if I knew what I was in for, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
If I knew what I was in for, I wouldn't do it. That's exactly what I tell you guys. You better know what you're getting into, because most of you won't find out what you're getting into until you do it. And when you do it, now you're going to be like, oh, shit. Now, let's talk about what happens in the divorce. But we're going to do that. I'm going to take a break here. I actually got to type something up here. I see what I did here. See if I can do this live. All right. Let me see here. Ugly truth about divorce. And by the way, them women about to get divorced. All right, them women got a one-way fucking ticket to divorce. All right, Whoever's married to them women and got kids, they are shit out of luck. And nobody's gonna save them. All right. That's the sad part about this true reality about divorce. But I'll give you some advice. Shout out to Flash in the building. Minister Flash. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for that support over on the Cash App. Shout out to our brother Kevin Sullivan says, damn, coach, you breaking the end of my relationship down to a T. That bitch wanted to leave me and the kids, which was cool with me, but tried to come back and play supermom and act like nothing happened in the whole situation. I mean, they're good at that. They're good at that. All right. They will come back and say, well, they're good at the I changed my mind. And you're supposed to just accept it. Let's start over with a clean slate. Let's put that in the past. But men are weak because they fall for it. Somebody asked, did I see the Philippines? Yes, I covered that this morning. Thank you very much. So, yeah, they will come back and act like nothing happened. I mean, and people will say, well, that is the mother of your kids. So go ahead and, just let her come back. She just was going through some stuff. It's like she was going crazy. Shout out to Leon Lovelace says, a few days late, but after seeing the score of Notre Dame beating Georgia in the college football playoffs, I don't want to hear analysts talk about only putting the most talented team in, i.e. Alabama. Hit the I don't want to hear it trash. Arizona State took Texas to OT. Vaunted Tennessee and Oregon got dominated. He says playoffs are about teams settling on the field and not showing sets or in meeting rooms. Shout out to you. Wait a minute. Georgia. I don't know how Georgia got dominated like that. Notre Dame is that good? All right. Notre Dame might win it all at this point. Notre Dame. Okay. We got a couple more, then I'm going to get to the main event. Sorry, I'm letting the screen refresh. Okay, H Everyday says, live with a woman. I've come to the conclusion that girls are 25% 4 times a day. You are a spectator in her life in your own house. Yes, indeed, man. Man, I'm going to tell you, who's never lived with a woman? First of all, if you've never lived with a woman, but you're out here disagreeing with me, you need to go slap yourself. Go slap yourself fast. When you wake up in the morning, slap yourself. But if you never live with a woman, please, guys, I'm going to tell you, man, I wouldn't tell you to do so, but you're going to find out really fast how difficult things are when men and women live together. Not that men are perfect and women are not, but it's just difficult just living together in a situation where this person really sets the mood of the day. She wakes up, and then she sets the mood. All right. How are we going to have fun? Like, what are we going to do today? You're minding your own business. You wake up in the morning. Let's say we're talking about a responsible male, because I know there's some piece of shit guys out here. We're not talking about them. You wake up early in the morning. You know when she gets up, it's going to be a tornado. She's going to get up all moody and cranky. Sometimes she might wake up horny. But you wake up and you're like, and you just wake up. You wake up early in the morning and get your shit done because, when she wakes up, she's going to start ordering you around and telling you what we're going to do and asking you to do shit. So you got to wake up early in the morning and do your chores and watch your show and watch your prawn and scroll your Instagram. You got to wake up in the morning to do your shit. She wakes up, hair all out like a lion, breath stinking, foul ass attitude, stank attitude, peace sleeve stanking, bleeding, peace sleeve just fumigating. All right. You don't know if she going to wake up in love and hate, if she going to wake up after a bad dream, a nightmare, if she lost sleep, tossing and turning, if she hangry, horny. And here we go. Feet stanking. Here she come. Come to fuck your day up. All right. We need to do this and we need to do that. And how come you ain't been doing it? How come you ain't do this? And you've been up for an hour and a half, 2 hours before her ass doing shit that she don't even recognize you did. In her world, you was doing nothing. You just waiting for her to tell you what to do. Yep, feet smelling like corn nuts. And then she come out, and the rest of the day is going to be predicated on what happens in that first part of the morning. All right, so if she in a pissy mood, the rest of the day going to be pissy. Now you got to tiptoe and walk around eggshells to get her all back. Come here, honey. Don't touch me. You try to touch her titty. You always. You trying to get some sex in the morning. Let me just get this nut real quick because I might not get it later tonight. My piece leaving. I just want to sleep. She like a kid. She'll get in your lap and want to cuddle. Lay in your lap like she your daughter and you're the dad. Just want to cuddle. Just hold me. You like, what the fuck is going on here? She might wake up happy. She might wake up want to go to IKEA and go shopping. You don't know what the fuck she's going to wake up. But what the point is, when you're living with her, like the whole day is predicated on her goofy ass behavior right when she wake up. I'm cramping. I'm irritable. I'm happy. I'm sad. You're like... And all you want to do is scratch your nuts and watch some football or play some. That's all you wanted to do. All right, hold on for a second. All right, back. Appreciate y'all for bearing with me on that one. But yeah, but anyway, that's the life of people who cohabitate. So anyway, let me get to these. Let me get to the main event. I guess this is the main event. But I got no. I got some more. Hold on for a second. I got two more. Shout out to John I. Says they never see what you did or are doing. It's borderline perplexing. He says, oblivious creatures. My ex-wife told me something that I can use, that the university would literally revoke her degree and she would have to pay back scholarship money, but we stayed quiet and rebuild. All right, shout out to you, man. Man, what is that about? That's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out to Jesus from the morning show says, how did you handle postpartum depression and what advice do you have for the guys that have a wife and wives that are pregnant? All right, this is how I handle postpartum depression. Now, I wouldn't handle it like this because when I was married and my wife was at the time, wife at the time was pregnant, I'm not a big believer in a lot of these psychological disorders. I understand the power of hormones and mental issues in the brain, but I'm not one to let people use it as an excuse. Okay? So, and this is how I've always been. You know, people think that I became this overnight. I've always been this way. So when people typically use something as a reason to explain shitty behavior, I immediately reject it. Same thing as when people use religion in a debate when they're losing. I immediately reject it. I will rebuke it in the name of the Lord. So when we were going through some of these issues and then it was brought up that the behavior was a result of this, I said, fuck postpartum depression. Now, fuck that. Now, this is another reason why I get divorced, right? Because I'm like, fuck that. We ain't going for all that shit. Because what it is I never see people using these excuses when they having a party. They having a party, they smoking and drinking, they having fun. It's all fun and happy. They at Disneyland. Ain't nobody talking about that shit. But when accountability shows up, when you're held responsible, when you're supposed to behave like an adult, all of a sudden these disorders show up. So I was one to not be on board with that shit and tiptoe around it. I say, bitch, you better get your act together. Fuck all that postpartum shit. Or so I'll say something like this. Well, go get some help. All right? Because what I don't see is people getting help for shit. They're self-diagnosing and they're self-medicating, and the motherfuckers ain't getting help for their disorders, nor are they becoming like, okay, I realize I'm having my postpartum depression moment. Maybe I'll go in the corner. They don't do that. They just continue to act like a piece of shit and then blame it on a disorder. All right, and that goes for more than postpartum depression. That goes for every goddamn thing. So I wasn't going for it. I said, bitch, get your panties out of a bunch and put your big girl panties on and act like an adult. That's why I'm divorced. Because I don't go for that shit. It's never when they're having fun. It only shows up when you try to hold them accountable and they're, now you're not sympathetic to my depression. Man, fuck your depression. That's what I say. Because you wasn't talking about it when we was doing good. Bitch, you wasn't talking about it when I was shooting in the gym, but now I'm holding you accountable and expect you to behave like an adult. All right? They don't want to hear that shit. Hold on for a second. I'm cooking. All right. I had to do something behind the scenes. All right, but I was cooking. But see, this is why I'm different with people. Because when I act the asshole, I'll act the asshole and I'll take the credit for it or the accountability. But what you're not going to do is say, well, they got postpartum depression, so what you need to do is go to the store every time they need pickles and ice cream. No. Nah, fuck that shit. So they're not going to control me with some goddamn mental instability. What you're telling me is you're mentally unstable, and I'm supposed to negotiate with you. You're not sober, and I'm sober. I'm sober. You need medication. You definitely ain't making the fucking rules. I'm not going to be out here, tap dancing for you and being a goddamn puppet, and you being a puppet master, and you're fucking unstable, and you're on drugs. Fuck that. So then I say, go get your own help then, because I ain't going to drag you to the goddamn psychologist or the therapist. Go get your own help. What they will do is they won't get no help. Right? They won't get no help, and they'll just constantly self-medicate and self-diagnose and then fucking hold it over your head. So I said, what you ain't gonna motherfucking do is hold that goofy ass shit over my head. What you gonna do is take a flying leap. All right, so that's how I dealt with it. Now, the problem is you're gonna get divorced. All right, you're gonna get divorced. All right, but that's how I dealt with it. I was like, you're not sober and you're unstable. You ain't calling a goddamn shot. All right, so divorce. All right, and bitch, if you ain't gonna get no help, bitch, you gonna be out here just sitting in the corner rocking and crying. All right, so that's how I did it. Now, do I expect you to do it that way? And listen, all right, but it worked out in my situation. All right, I'm toxic as hell. All right, but I ain't gonna let you use no disorders and no bad behavior to explain you being a piece of shit. All right, that ain't what you gonna do in my goddamn world, and I ain't gonna let that be the guiding light so I can tap dance over you because you're the mother of my kids. That is not gonna happen with me. I ain't playing that game. But that's what they'll do. They'll typically try to use these things to change your behavior. All right, so you can excuse this bullshit. All right, no, bitch, you a grown ass woman. You better act like it, or you better drink some act right juice real quick, or your ass gonna get left. That's what you gonna do. All right, but I ain't gonna be letting this shit go around and trying to figure this shit out. I'm just letting you know. I mean, I did this as well as with athletes as well. And it reflected in my performance as a coach because I wouldn't let these people get away with this bullshit. Well, I got ADHD, man. Fuck ADHD. Man, you better act like a goddamn adult. I ain't got no time for this shit. You know what's right and wrong. You know what the fuck you're doing. You're not out of control, are you? You can control yourself too, because I saw you control yourself when you were out there doing the stanky leg and smoking weed. You obviously knew how to roll a joint and do the stanky leg. Now you're in here. Now you about to run laps, and now you got ADHD. You see what I mean? Like, I'm not going for that shit. And so I would piss off a lot of people, star players and all that. Nah, man, fuck that. I'm just straightforward like that. I want it straightforward. No chaser, no bullshit. Let's get straight to the facts. You don't want to act like an adult? Fuck you. That's how I deal with it. Yeah, we going to lose next week. I don't care. But what I ain't going to do is let no piece of shit people control me. That's how I am. And I live my life like that. Fuck that. All right. All right. That's how I do it. That's how I do life. And if anybody wants to come up with and you know what I've found is that all of these people they know so much about these disorders and still can't control themselves. Like, how the hell you know all of these? And I got this disorder and that disorder and that disorder. Man, go fuck yourself. Really, man, I ain't got no time for this. You don't know shit about life, but you know shit about them psychology books when it comes to you being a fucking failure in life. Man, kiss my ass. All right, I ain't got no time for that shit. Tough titty. Kiss my ass. Well, what you ain't gonna do is be a part of my life with your no controllable ass. But when it's time to hand out the money and hand out the performance reviews and hand out the promotions, when it's time to hand out the cookies, them motherfuckers be front line, in front with they goddamn prescriptions and they goddamn disorders. I don't got no time for these goofy ass people. I mean, just absolute farce of a world we live in. The fucking losers. All right, these people are losers. And don't attach yourself to these fucking losers, man. You want to be depressed? Go fucking be depressed by yourself. But you ain't going to be depressed in my life. All right, that's the way, because I ain't depressed. All right. They got all these goddamn fake-ass degrees and can't even tie their fucking shoes when they need to be held accountable. So that's how I dealt with it. All right, just to let you know. All right, and that's why I ended up the way I ended up. Because I didn't let them come up with that bullshit. I was like, nah, you ain't gonna use them psychology books against me. Fuck that. All right, because what happens is they can use that to anybody. And then they don't know the real life. It has to happen around that. Okay, what's happening in real life? We got to pay bills. We got to get kids dressed and go to school. All right, we got to, otherwise, we're going to let that be the guiding principle of our relationship? Hell no. Because people playing games. All right, you ain't going to play games with my life with them goddamn psychology books. All right, that's what you ain't going to do. All right, shout out to Elvis. Says, GOAT, been listening since 2019. Shout out to Elvis A. All right, but niggas, hey man, you're an adult. You know what the fuck to do. All right, we ain't got no time for this bullshit. Well, I feel like, man, I don't give a fuck what you feel like. All right, I ain't got no time for this shit. But niggas want to act like, hey, what am I supposed to do, coach? Now, I'm going to tell you, man, as soon as you ignite this fuse, it's going to be catastrophic for you. You're going to end up in a divorce. Okay, so you got to play the game. You got to play the game. If you don't play this goofy game, you're going to take a L. You're going to take a L either way. So I'm going to just let you know, you're going to take a L. All right, but anyway. Oh, man. Let's see here. Caitlin says the conundrum men face with women is this. If you marry her, you're going to get her at her worst more than her best. If you don't marry her, you screwed her over after you have sex with her. She'll sue you. You just can't win as a man. Well, there is one way to win as a man, and it is this right here.
You better boss up, nigga.
Just boss up, guys. Boss up. And for those that don't know, I worked on university campuses for almost 2 decades. I've seen this shit, not just in relationships. I've seen this with teachers and students, with coaches and players, with professors. And I've seen this, and we are really, really at a point where we got to really toughen up, or we're going to let these weaklings run society, because they're the ones claiming to be weak. They're saying what do they say? They have a disorder, or they have a malfunction, but they're the ones out here making decisions and voting and telling you you're wrong. I'm like, no. See me? I don't have nothing wrong with me. You admitted that you have something wrong with you. You definitely ain't about to set the rules. So this is where we have a conundrum where people don't want to put people in their place. Ko-Fi supporter doubles up. He says, been watching since 2021. Uncle Kev called you Coach Graybeard. I remember that. He says, my name is Monk Mode in the chat. He says, I gave you the word Pookiphilia last spring. Thank you for acknowledging me. Shout out to you, Monk Mode.
Acknowledge me.
Shout out to you. JJ Frost says, like you, Coach, I ain't go for the BS. I told my ex to boss up, ninja, and that's why I'm divorced.
Boss up, nigga.
For real. For real. And by the way, they'll get your kids to try to do this too. And this is where the conundrum is too, because these psychologists, they're mostly Marxist college professors. These guys got degrees from Cal Berkeley and all these goofy ass universities, paid Marxist training. And they'll come in and destroy your family with this psychological bullshit. And they got people fucking experts. Kids are experts on all these psychological pills and shit that they got this, and they'll get into the book and they'll show you this and this is has to that. And they don't know shit about shit. It don't improve family relations. What it does is makes a parent bow down to a kid. What it does is make the kid more beholden to somebody other than the parent. Then they'll get your kids to buy into that bullshit. Man, fuck that. All right, if your kid want to go off on that bullshit, you can tell them, make a choice. All right, but you're not going to control me with, well, I'm feeling bad about myself today and I'm going to slit my wrist. Man, get the fuck out of here. Go toughen up, kid. Go fucking bag some groceries. Like, go get a job. But the parents are like, they're going to do it this time, man, bruh. Okay, whatever. Like, you got to stop letting these people control you with that bullshit. All right, look, motherfucker. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. But, dude, I mean, it's just one thing after the next where you're just trying to be free, and they won't let your ass be free. And the minute you be like, well, fucking do it then. Boss up then. All right, you don't want me? Oh, Jesus Christ. Man, would you go fucking run a lap or something? Go run a lap. But, you know, they'll get your kid. They'll get your kids. They'll get your wife involved in this shit, and you're supposed to run the household. I'm telling you, man, these people are crackheads. And most of these psychology people are crackheads, too. They crackheads. All right? The biggest crackhead that they study are crackhead. What's that dude's name? Sigmund Freud? Crackhead. Ninja was a cokehead. He did so much coke. He came up with so much metaphilia, all kind of shit that I even talk about. Basehead ass niggas. All right. Most of these psychology people on prescription meds talking shit. All right. I can't deal with that industry. And trust me, I worked on 5 college campuses. I've seen the psychology department. These people are cuckoo. There ain't no straight up individual in the psychology department. And I went to 2 universities. Trust me, I've seen enough psychology people. There ain't shit that I need to look at with them motherfuckers and get no information from. What the fuck do they know? All right. All right. Yeah, functional junkies, them junkie ass department. I mean, listen, there's some people in there that can provide some help, but I'm not high on the psychology people at all. I'm not high on them. All right. I really could take and leave whatever the fuck they talking about. All right. They're really just guessing half the time. And then they'll flip and do the opposite shit. Like 1 minute gay is a disorder and then the next minute it ain't. All right. Like, come on, bro. Psychology department really is low on there's a whole bunch of departments. The fucking anthropology department has got a higher fucking rank than me in the psychology department. Right, anyway. But anyway, you see I'm with it today. It's the evening service. But you know, the most people that listen to that shit are women. Women eat all of that shit up. Because let me tell you why women eat this stuff up. Because number one, women tend to eat stuff up like this that's unproven. Like, right, they'll go into astrology and crystals and palm reading. And psychology is right up there with it. It's just pseudoscience. Like, but they follow that shit like it's fucking the government's law, right? Like it's law. All right, but they also, the same one, will follow astrology and crystals and gems and fucking sand and magic and horoscopes. And it's all up in the same goddamn category to me. But they'll read it like it's fucking law. Because they love witchcraft shit. And as long as it validates their feelings, they'll go for it, hook, line, and sinker. All right, so for them, you can't get them off of psychology. All right, psychology is a legit science to them, so they gonna do it. Then tell them about biology, male biology. They'll call that shit witchcraft. Tarot cards. All right, it's all the same to me. All right, it's just a stab in the dark. It's like a rabbit's foot, a flip of a coin. You could be right. What are you gonna be right? 50% of the time, it's like walking under a ladder. Yep, numerology. It's all to them. It's all the same. All right, so that's why they eat it up. All right, they can go in there and it's a legit discipline, and they can go in there and say, well, they got a degree from Cal Berkeley. They know what they're talking about. No, they don't. That don't mean just because they went to Cal Berkeley don't mean to know what they're talking about. Yeah. Yep, anything that takes away their accountability. Well, it's the psychology book, so I guess this is what it is. No. Nope. Yeah, man. All right, main event. All right, look, man, I'm just freestyling. And then they want the men to jump in there. You need to go in here, too. No, I'm not going to your fucking tarot card reading. I'm not going to this goddamn, and oh, by the way, did I break down the numbers of most of the psychologists are women. 75% of all therapists are women. 75% of all therapists are female. It's like 70%. I think it's up there to 75%. All of the 75% of all therapists are women. And I've met some of them on dating apps. They'll be like, oh, I'm a marriage and family counseling therapist. I'm like, on Tinder? And then you go meet with them and they all eccentric and weirdos. Then you go to their house. They live in a one fucking bedroom shack. And you're like, you're a marriage family therapist. Divorced twice. 8 cats in a one bedroom shack. Tragic. Right? Tragedy. I'm like, you're literally changing people's lives. Unbelievable. Absolute junk. All right, junk science. All right, until they come up with some shit that's legit, let me know. All right, anyway, some of these people are not supposed to be qualified, licensed people, man. Anyway, let's get to it. Witches, I call them. Okay, now that we pissed everybody off. The dirty secrets about divorce. Well, number one, I've showed you this data before. And remember, when I used to show you this data, who remembers this? Who remembers this? I used to show this data and people would say, Coach, where are you getting your statistics from? This guy's making it up. Now, I've done a lot of this groundwork, and so did a lot of people in this space. So today, these are the main talking points of everybody. And I think Pearl Davis, I'm going to give Pearl Davis. Pearl Davis came off the heels of Kevin Samuels' rise. Pearl Davis literally legitimized all of these statistics that I'm going to tell you. The reason why is she was able to take what we did and take it to a mainstream. Now, today, people go with these statistics. They're fairly well known. But I was doing streams in 2018 and 2019, and people were literally acting like I was lying. People were like, you're lying. You're making this up. And I used to be like, huh? But today, these are all well-accepted pieces of information. Now, if you get married, we're going to talk about the likelihood of you getting a divorce and what's going to happen here. So here it is right here. This is a big one right here. It says right here, 50% of all marriages in the United States will end in divorce or separation. Okay. 41% of all first marriages end in divorce. 60% of all second marriages end in a divorce. That's the big one for today. And 73% of all third marriages end in divorce. The United States has the 6th highest divorce rate in the world. Okay. And then let me read these. Every 42 seconds, there's one divorce in America. That equates to 86 divorces per hour, 2,046 divorces per day, 14,000 divorces per week, and 746,000 divorces per year. All right. Every 16 seconds, there's a marriage in the U.S. that equates to, let's continue here. There's nearly 3 divorces in the time it takes for one couple to recite their wedding vows. So in the time it takes, the 2 minutes it takes to recite the wedding vows, 3 divorces have occurred. And it says more than 172 divorces occur during a typical romantic comedy movie. 430 divorces happen during the average wedding reception. And there are over 5 million divorces over the course of the average first marriage that ends in a divorce. Okay, so in 8 years, the average first marriage that ended divorce is 8 years. In that time, you've been married for 8 years, there's been almost 6 million divorces. So, coach, man, just because you got divorced, my marriage is going good. Okay, so you've been married for under 10 years, barely under 10 years, and there's been 6 million divorces. All right, and this is the next big one. Over a 40-year period, 67% of first marriages terminate. Okay, so that's the big one where people say, what is the actual divorce rate? Well, people calculate it differently. You might hear 50%. You might hear 40%. You might hear somebody say 70%. Well, they're all right, but it just depends on how you calculate it. If you take first marriages only, then there's a different percentage. If you take marriages overall, then it's a different percentage. If you take the divorce rate and you say, well, somebody said the divorce rate is not 50%, it's 42%, 41%. And they're right because they're taking who got married in 1 year and in the same year who got divorced, and they'll have a ratio, and that is the divorce rate. Then they'll say year to year, it goes up, it goes down, because they're just taking who got married in year 2024 and who got divorced in year 2024. That is the divorce rate that people argue about. The problem with that divorce rate, although it is accurate year end, right? Every year you can use that to track and plot if the divorce rate is up and down. If it's going up and down, that is an accurate number. The problem with that is, when did the people who got divorced, when did they get married along that line? So you're saying these people got divorced in this year, but when did they get married? Last year or 40 years ago? They don't count that. So you can't tell when marriages are beginning or ending. We just take who got married in 1 year and who got divorced, and we call that the divorce rate. So technically, that is the divorce rate. However, if you plot everybody's marriage across the board, not taking consideration or taking consideration of when they got married and when they got divorced, it's actually close to 70%. It's close to 70%. And I'll put it up again. There it is, 67% over 40 years. So it's way worse. And that's just the first marriages, not the second marriage and the third marriages. So people can't really, because people are really bad at this argument, at trying to figure out what it is and arguing over 40%, 50%, 60%. And people will say, you're wrong. It's not that high. You're exaggerating. Well, there's 3 different ways to measure this. The one is who got married in 1 year, who got divorced. That is the divorce rate. That's somewhere around 40%. It's always going to be around there, 42, 41, 48, 36. So it'll go up and down. But what doesn't go up and down is saying who got married in total and who got divorced in total, and then putting that number up. If you put that number up, it's going to stay relatively the same right here. It's never going to fluctuate over a 40-year period. 67% of first marriages will terminate. Okay. And so, yeah, the divorce rate is a very inaccurate measurement. It's not the best way to measure it. Just as I described it, that's a bad way to measure it. You think, wow, you just took who married and who got divorced in 1 year and called that the divorce rate. That's not a good way to determine where the marriages are actually doing. Okay. Nor is it a good way because you don't know who was the first marriage, second marriage, third marriage. You can't determine a lot from just using the divorce rate. But it is the lowest number, but it's the least accurate way to figure out what marriage is. Now, the thing is, and 40% is still relatively high. I mean, that's ridiculously high. But people will be comfortable with that number because it's under 50%. Now, here's the thing when you get into these divorces. If you shall get in, which is you're most likely going to get a divorce, unfortunately. You're very much more likely, especially in today's time. So it is what it is. Like you're not making it to year 40 right here. You're not making it to 40 years. That's just right there. You got literally a 3 out of 10 chance of making it to 40 years. All right. So what typically happens is men who get divorced suffer greatly in the first year to 5 years when the divorce is filed. Why do we know this? Well, we know this typically because Pearl has made popular the data that says 70% of women initiated divorces. Okay? I had to prove this for many years. Pearl has made it popular, and now women have accepted it. This is globally accepted now. When I was saying it, it was not widely accepted that that was the case. People thought I was making that up. 80% of women with degrees, highly educated women, file for divorces. Before, there was an argument point, but the problem is if you're a man, you're less likely to file for the divorce because of penalties, because of an unfair gynocentric court system. So what you'll do is you'll try to go through bullshit, or she'll put up with your bullshit up to a point and back out. When this happens, you're going to go through a ravaging of your finances, especially if you have children. Okay? If you have children and you get a divorce, it could be very lethal for you. It's not always going to be because every case is different. If you don't have children, it can be somewhat easy to get out of this. Still going to be some hurt feelings. Your finances may take a little bit of a hit. You got to split some property. It will be pretty much right down the line. Most marriages that end in divorce have children. Most women don't file for divorce when there's no children, right? When you take the rate of women who file for divorce, and you say it's 70%, 80%, this is most of the time there's children involved. When there's no children, the women tend to stay with the marriage longer to get to the point where there's children because she doesn't win anything by getting out of a marriage without children, right? She doesn't get anything. There's no incentive. Only if there was a big discrepancy in income. And even then, if it's a short-term marriage, she's not getting that much alimony. So normally she's going to, I'll put up with your cheating. I'll put up with your alcoholism. I'll put up with your abuse. Then children come, then she pulls the ripcord. There's an incentive. She doesn't have to put up with it any longer. Those women talked about this right here. All right, just so you don't think I'm making it up. These women were just talking about said thing there. Okay, the kids come, and now bait and switch. All right, I don't want this life. I want to go back to the life I previously had before children. You see, the children are the big thing to fight about. So then it becomes ugly. So your finances are going to take a hit legally, and your finances are going to take a hit related to children, and you're going to lose time with your children more than likely, if not all the time. And if you've had any problems in your own personal life, you had some alcoholism, some abuse, drug abuse, gambling, porn addiction, anything that comes up as a red flag, you sold drugs, you're going to lose big time. Most divorces and child custody situations are uncontested, meaning that the man doesn't contest at all. He doesn't have the finances. He doesn't have the fight. He doesn't have the need or want to be in the children's life or the wife's life anymore. So he just washes his hand, and the woman just files the paperwork and walks off. The biggest meltdown is when you fight. That's where you're going to face the biggest financial loss when you fight. So there's one thing is if you don't fight, you were the problem. You just want to let it go. You want to let her have the kids. You want to go fuck new bitches. You just let her walk. You're going to take a hit. But you already know what the check is. You'll probably just pass it off and you may recover unless you have some drug or alcohol issue. When you want to be in your children's life is where you're really going to fight over years. And as much as you want to be in your kid's life and as much as she might be against it, guess what happens? You're going to lose out big time. Unless you have a significant increase in income during that time, you're never going to financially recover out of that. If your kids were young, 5, 3, 10, you're talking about years of fighting for these custody issues. And these are thousands of dollars, time off the job, court appearances, lawyers, and so forth and so on. This is going to be a drain of your finances. The only way you get out of this is if you have a skyrocketing peak in income, which is a double-edged sword, because if you do have a skyrocketing peak in income, that's more reason for her to keep the kids away from you. Why? Your income is increased. She gets more child support if your income goes up. So that means she's going to fight you even more. If your income doesn't go up, well, she can just make you fight a couple times and you're going to give up. All right, you're going to be like, I can't afford this. I can't deal with this anymore. So you'll give up, and then she'll say, you didn't fight for your kids. So it's all a double-edged sword. And the biggest part of it is, once you get into this system, they won't take the tentacles out of you, because what'll happen is, if you do find your way financially free, you can beat them. You can afford to fight them. You can afford to fight for your kids, and you can beat them at it. So one of the ways to do this and to keep you down as a guy is to keep your finances under control, under their control, under the control of the mother or your ex-wife, and under the control of the court. Because that way, if they can do that, you can't fight out of the system. Right? So if they want to throw you in jail for contempt hearing, you fucked. But the minute you can afford to fight, now you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars fighting them, and then you can fight your way out of the freedom. The only way really around it is to be off paper, 1099, self-employed, or something like that, or having your money in a business. If you're W-2, they're just going to modify you every 6 months and fuck you over. All right. Oh, you got another raise. Oh, you went from $75K to $150, more child support. So the W-2 is a way to ensnare and entrap you. But really the thing for freedom is there's a price for freedom. And if you can pay the price, you can get free. Freedom is not free. So the way I was able to beat it was to come financially free. Free of the W-2. Free of the paycheck. Free of the 9 to 5. I was able to beat that by becoming less dependent on those and then making money on my own. Okay. And I started I started a little fitness training business, self-employed. Then I started making money off YouTube. So that was a way I beat that. If I was W-2, I couldn't beat it. All right. It would have been much more difficult, because imagine you're going to court hearing after court hearing after court hearing, but you got to be at your job trying to get promotion to get a raise. They got you kind of fucked. All right, they got you kind of fucked. So this is kind of what you have to do. You have to be ready to fight. Now, women in the time period, the first 1 to 5 years after a divorce, men get trounced typically in their divorce. They get bounced around. They have to sell houses and move finances and liquidate things and maybe have to pay child support. Women tend to benefit a little more greatly during this time, but not the way they intend. They believe they're going to get more out of it, and they're entitled to more. This is why they're fighting you. They often end up disappointed at what they're going to get. Although they get something, $300 a month, $800 a month, it's still not what they were getting when you were there. So this is where the great disappointment is. They wanted to get rid of you. They wanted to get rid of the problem, but the problem is still a problem because they need you to pay your child support, or they want you to pay X amount of dollars, but you only are paying a lesser amount of that. This is where their frustration comes in. Hey, that little $800 ain't gonna cut it. I need more than that. So then they'll try to ask you for more. Can you pay for the kids' shoes? Can you buy them football equipment? And it costs more than that. And you're like, bitch, well, the state only told me you only getting $300 a month. You should have acted right when I was there. Now you want to, guess what? Now you want to say you need more money. Well, kiss my ass. I'm only giving you $300. The state said $300. Bitch, you only getting $300. So then they get frustrated and call you a deadbeat, or they try to make it hard for you and keep taking you back to court. Because what they thought was they were going to get more from you in your absence. They got something, and that something is definitely uncomfortable for you. However, it's not enough to cover what you were doing when you possibly were there. In the long run, they're going to take a L, okay? So they're going to get this is financial suicide for her. She doesn't realize it, though. She thinks she's going to come out better by getting rid of you and replacing you with the government's income. But what happens is, in the long run, she's going to get eaten alive. And she will financially bankrupt herself over years. Should the child support run out? Should you take her off of child support, right? Should you take her into Modify? It was $800, now it's $400. She cooked. And she's going to be cooked from about age 45 to 80. Cooked. Highly unlikely she gets herself out of it. Now, when I say these things, most men will never financially recover. Women are highly likely to get themselves out of it. Trust me, I know people do get out of it. And you guys are the exception that proves the rule. So shout out to the men that have financially recovered. Shout out to the women that have found out a way to get around it once they turned 50 and had to support themselves. I acknowledge you, but you are not the rule. You are the exception that proves the fact that most women get eaten alive 5, 10, 15 years after a divorce. And the rule is most men never financially recover because they don't have a system set up, or they were blindsided and they didn't have any information and they came in and got hammered. Okay, that's what happens. All right, that's what happens in these situations. For the men, you're going to a situation. How do you recover? Number one, you got to acknowledge that if you do get married, this is part of what you accept can happen to you. If you don't accept that this can happen to you, you're going to lose out here. All right, so let's put the data up again. If you volunteer for marriage, right here, the chance of you getting divorced is very high. Some men get divorced and they want to get remarried again. What's the data on that? Second marriages, shout out to the second marriage people that actually, oh, mine worked out, coach. Okay, shout out to you. But second marriages are actually worse than first. 60%, 73%. I mean, these are almost guarantees. But when you know and accept it and stop arguing and stop saying, well, it ain't going to happen to me. It's going to be the person behind me. And our love is like no other love. First step is acknowledging that this can happen so that when it does happen, you're not blindsided. You're not bamboozled. You're not wondering what happened. The next step is you got to be proactive in your fight to know what's happening here. If you're reactive, you're also going to be blindsided because you're going to think, my girl wouldn't do this to you. You never know who your wife is until you see her in divorce court. Sorry to tell you. You see her over there, you're going to not even remember fucking her. You don't even remember anything romantic you ever did when she dragging your ass. Right? She dragging you. You be like, damn, I used to have sex with that. Used to sleep in bed. All right, I was married almost 9 years. I used to sleep in bed with this woman. I don't even recognize her. I don't even know who that person is. I don't even remember having sex, but apparently we did at least twice because we have 2 kids. All right, but we used to. I'm like, what the hell happened? And most of the time it's pain and you just want to push that shit in the back and just be like, okay, them 10 years didn't happen. All right. But these are important years for you. They were important not only in your development as an adult, in your maturity, in your transition into, being an adult. It also produced life. So it was important. Although you want to shove it in the back of your brain and act like it didn't happen, you'd be like, oh, Lord, what happened? So the next thing is, once you get out of that, I always tell men, simple rule, 5 years until you get a girlfriend. Okay? 5 years before you enter another serious relationship. If you get a divorce. Now, if you've been married 10 years, over 10 years, for every 10 years, add another 5 years. So for the men that end up looking to see if they can get a replacement wife, these are the men that get divorced quick. All right. These are the marriages that end in second divorce. So you get married within the first 5 years of your first divorce. If you get married a second time, this is a double L. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you probably haven't financially recovered from your first divorce. Okay, so, I told you the first year through 5 years, most men getting annihilated. Then if you compound that with the second marriage and that goes left, you're getting annihilated again, but for a short amount of money. Typically, second marriages involve some children. So you have children, she doesn't, or you both have children. It's almost rare that a person gets married twice and neither has children. That's actually some data that shows you that. So somebody has a child or two. Sometimes you both have children. And then you combine both of their lives in the second and third marriage. And then what you've done now is now you've hurt 2 sets and 3 sets of kids. Because if the other person gets married and it works out or doesn't work out, now you got 3 and 4 sets of kids that have been torpedoed by your lack of ability to hold a relationship together. And thus, you have almost very little chance of recovering after a divorce that fast. So I always tell people, wait. If your kids are young, now you don't have to follow this advice. You can go ahead and keep rolling the dice out here with y'all country asses. All right, but if you get into a situation where your kids were young when you got divorced in the first marriage, then in the second marriage, they even become an adult and you got divorced again. Imagine you as a child, you saw your father get divorced twice before you hit 18. How would you view relationships and marriages? How would you view your dad or your mom for that matter? You just saw your mom and dad get divorced twice before you got out of high school. You're telling me this is a healthy way to approach relationships? People do this all the time because they're selfish. They're selfish. They're ignoramuses. They're really toxic people. And guess what? Your kids ain't even got no college funds saved up because y'all done went through 2 divorces. And then the kids go off 18. Now they got to go pump gas and bag groceries. And now you're going to come up with every excuse under the book as to why your kids ain't able to support themselves economically. Yeah, how about getting married and divorced twice before they got 18? That probably had a reason. That probably was a major reason why your kids are in a fucked up economic condition. Right? That's probably why they fucked up and bagging groceries right now. And they can't move out of the house. It ain't got nothing to do with the economy. It's you and your failed relationships. So I say put your need to be loved to the side just a little bit and do what's best for your children from their first failed marriage and get them through life or attempt to get them through life. So take 5 years to not seriously date because you're still weak from the first marriage. Like the things that you were doing your first marriage, when you get back out into the world after 5, 10, 15 years, that world doesn't exist anymore. when I got married, there was no text messaging. Now, shortly after I got married, there were phones that started to have text. So that was like maybe a year or two later. But when I first got married, walked down the aisle, nobody could text each other. They had phones that had text messaging, but you could only receive it. You could not send it back. So there was no idea of this, you texting back and forth. There was no Instagram. There was no Tinder. There was no motherfucking Bumble. Now, once I got divorced, those things existed. And I'm back into a world where that's existing. So now I'm in a world where people have a different approach to how relationships work. That's similar today. There was no share locations when people got married 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Now today, couples share locations with each other. That's a whole different way to operate a relationship. Now you're coming into a world that's non-existent, and now it exists in this world. Now you're just in a different way of working things out. It's going to leave you hard to really get together. So, you're going to make mistakes, and then you're going to have to figure this world out. All right. So don't get married. Don't get a serious relationship for 5 years. Now you're going to say, Coach, what do I do for sex? Well, there's the junior college. All right. I had a woman that once told me, don't consider any serious girlfriend for years. Only mess with working girls. Now, this is a woman that told me that. And then she was a divorced woman, but she was like, you can't afford to mess with anyone seriously because all you're doing is trying to find somebody on the cheapest, right? The cheapest deal. You're struggling financially. And so you're trying to find the cheapest deal. What'll happen is you'll find a predator, a person that is going to prey on your vulnerabilities and your weakness. And you're going to give her all the ammunition as to make the relationship work. She'll rush you down the aisle and set you up for divorce the second time. She'll tell you all the great things she's going to do compared to what your ex-wife allegedly did. At the end of your relationship, she's going to be great in the beginning of the relationship. You're going to know her less than a year, walk her down the aisle, and be a two-time loser. Because you're weak. She's preying on you. A lot of women target single fathers and co-parents that are trying to do the best for their kids. And these women are divorcees themselves. And those women will target men like you and set yourself up for a financial disaster, for a relationship that will very rarely work. And this will double down your financials and the double down stupidity. So you're a good father. These women are dealing with baby daddy issues, or they're, toxic baby mamas themselves. They'll see you raising your kids. Oh, we'll make a great couple today. We can help raise these other kids. And they'll fucking target you. And you'll walk this goddamn woman down the aisle. And you will find out why the first daddy left her ass. He wasn't that bad. You just jumped on the deal. And they are going to get something out of you. You're going to be a stepdad. You're going to be more likely to raise your kids and her kids. And you'll put your kids together and shit. And it'll seem like it works. And she'll walk you right down that aisle. And then yaga. Don't say it ain't going to happen. Here's the numbers. Don't say it ain't going to happen. There's the numbers right here. So, people going to be like, not always. Man, fuck you. All right? I don't want to hear that shit. There's the numbers right there. Read them and weep. Read them and weep. Very, very much the thing to do. And then if that happens, you're going to lose 75% of your money instead of 50% the first time. And that's a relative average figure. Now you got to figure out how to support stepkids and have custody of custody of stepkids. It's going to be an absolute disgrace. It's going to be a disgrace. So the next thing we tell you to do in this here, don't have any more children if you can. All right. Now you guys can do whatever you want to do, but if you have more children after you get a divorce, it's going to complicate things for a variety of reasons, because most of the time you're having children with another woman. And if it's out of wedlock, you're going to have a different custody situation going on here, and it's going to complicate and muddy the waters. So don't have children when you're not financially ready to. And the problem is you can have children for free. Get some pussy, you bust some nuts, and all of a sudden you get a woman pregnant. But, you know, at that particular point, you got to make that situation work as much as possible, because if you have a custody battle between both of these women, them women go get together and ruin you. Them women go get together and ruin you. So if you're done having kids, you're done having kids. For me, I said I was done. All right, so I'm not having any more kids. Unless I meet a Ling Ling over there or something like that. Then I'll have a Ling Ling over in the Philippines or something like that. But I said I'm going to strategically not get married again and not have kids. That way I can financially recover. But you got to be very hyper vigilant about doing this, because these women will let you go up in there raw and do it. And once that happens, there's no calling it back. And that's going to make you, because this is what I said to myself. I don't want to be paying child support till after age 50. So my son turns 18 in June, less than 6 months. Well, just about at 6 months. I'll be 49. I got divorced and separated in 2012, 2013 area. So it's been 12 years. Imagine if I've had children within that 12-year period. Right at the beginning. So my kid, let's say I have kids right with the next woman. I would have a 12-year-old. So that means I would have still 6 years on the clock. All right, so that pushes me to 56 till child support or marriage or whatever it is. All right, let's say I had kids 6 years in, 7 years in, 8 years in. Now that pushes me to 60, 61, 62 with a potential child support and shit like that. See, this is how you guys got to look at it. I literally could have been off the books and out of the system at 49. Instead, I doubled down, chased the love dragon. Now I'm child support at 62. All for some pussy and a nut. See, just look at the different types of lifestyles you have available to you. The light at the end of the tunnel. The world you have available. That's ugly, isn't it? Just thinking about that. Like, whoo, child support until I'm 62. Dealing with the family court till I'm 62 when I could have been done at 49. I'm done at 49. I'm done. Child support, I'm done at 49. I have no child support. I have custody of my son. My daughter's an adult. My son's going to be an adult in 6 months. Done. Instead, if I would have doubled down on the love dragon and chased the love bombing and chased a single mom or knocked up, I would be 62, 63, 64. That's how I'm financially recovering. Because now I don't have to think about that. Of going, man, how am I going to make that work? How am I going to be rich? How am I going to travel? Now I got to work till I'm 70. Now I can look at possibly having a different life at 49 and 50. Right? So these are the things that we want to tell you about when people say, well, what about love? And what about marriage? And you could have had a wife and you could have got something out of it. I learned the first time. I'm not going to do it. Now, Marlon Wayans, he recently had a girl get pregnant, and I think he's going to be 70 until he pays child support. And he's kicking and screaming that he has to pay this child support until his 70s. Imagine being tied to the system all for a piece of nookie. The next way is you got to work your grind. You got to work 2 and 3 jobs to get out of this hole. Divorce is like a death. It's the death of your legacy, but it is like a death. So you got to be able to work double hard to get out of this grind. Luckily, the best thing my ex-wife did was divorce me at age 36. So I was still relatively young. Once you get into your 40s and your 50s, they call it a gray divorce. And this is where the data gets accurate. You'll never financially recover, or the likelihood of you financially recovering is slim to none after age 50. 50. There's still a possibility. But the gray divorce, so people are going to object, not gray divorce right here. Let me see here. Where we at here? It says right here, recovery financially can take a long time. More than 1/3 of people have yet to financially recover up to 5 years following a divorce. All right, so here's the data right there. 1/3 of people have yet to financially recover up to 5 years following a divorce. Women are more likely to experience poverty from divorce at age 50 and above. Okay, men's household income falls less by 23% after divorce past age 50. So imagine your income at age 50, which supposed to be at its peak, drops 23% after age 50. It could be age 60. Your income goes down 23% based on whatever you're dividing up or whatever's going on there. You thought you were going to retire. I'm going to retire. I know men that were going to retire at age 65, and at age 64, they got yaga. Gray divorce. Cooked. So you can recover, but the odds are stacked against you. The odds are stacked against you. Let me see here. Divorce after 50 is absolutely destroying baby boomers' finances. So these are the people here. This would have been me. If I would have got married the second time, this would have been me in that age range. All right. Let's say it lasted 10 years. I would be closer in my 50s getting second divorce. 60% chance. Destroying finances. Boomers are ending marriages, sometimes for the second or third time, wrecking their finances on an unprecedented scale and never bouncing back. Right there. Okay? Right there. Never bouncing back. You ain't never getting that back, bro. By the time you split up your pension and your house that you paid off 20, 30%, you know what I mean? Or 80%, you got 20% left, and you done went through a separation, a divorce, 50, 55, 60, cooked. Cooked. And these are second and third marriages. Boomers are classic, notorious for getting married 2, 3, 4 times. And people calling me doom and gloom. It's a grim picture. Yep. It's grim. It's bad news, man. It says splitting up after age 50, often called a gray divorce, may be particularly hazardous to your emotional and financial health. Far worse than doing so at younger ages. A new wave of research is qualifying the damage. Susan Brown, it's a grim picture. One study, people who've gone through a gray divorce reported high levels of depression than those whose spouses have died. So it's worse than the death. I mean, you're living through death. That's kind of what the divorce is. It's not a surprise. Getting a gray divorce is a major financial shock. If you get divorced after age 50, expect your wealth to drop about 50%. No, I wouldn't have got married the second time. So no, no. And it says right there, that's not really a surprise. After all, any divorce involving dividing up a family resources, of course. All right. It says the women. They found that when women divorce after age 50, standard of living plunges 45%. That's about double the decline found in previous researches of younger divorced women. Older men see the standard of living drop 21% after divorce. Previous studies have found a smaller and negligible effect on divorce of younger men's income. So again, once you start going into deeper, right? Coach, I've been married for 14 years. I'm doing well. Okay, you are doing well currently in your marriage. But, nigga, you can get divorced in the next 10 years. And you cook. Like, you should have got off the, like, look. If you got married and you were married 14 years, you should have cut bait. You should have said, okay, that was good, and jumped off. Like, you would have been better off jumping off at 14. Like, I was been married for 14 years, and I'm good. You should have jumped out right then. All right, you'd be like, fuck it, I'm going to get out while I'm winning. Because if you go another 10 years, you cooked. Like, and you get another 10 years in your divorce, you can't afford it. All that work you've done for those 20 years is gone down the fucking drain. So it's better if you got out, right? I mean, listen, I'm not trying to destroy your families, but it would be better if you dipped out at year 14. Quit while you were ahead. It's like, oh, we good. We're ahead now. Let's just cut this shit now. All right, because if we go another 10 years, done. All right, anyway, let me get to these super chats here. So really, the one thing that saved me, just so you guys know, I got out of W-2 before the marriage ended. So I was already 1099. I was already working self-employed. That was a major savior of my ability to recover, because now my finances were all questionable to her. She saw I was living better. She just couldn't determine the income. With the W-2 job, you can determine the income. That's number one. Number two, do not get remarried. No serious girlfriend for 5 years. If you've been married under 10 years, no serious girlfriend for 5 years. If you've been married over 10 years, no serious girlfriend for 10 years. Take it off. Okay? Don't double down. This is if you want to financially recover. Now, if you just want to find some love and you want to find a wife and somebody that's going to be there when you fall off the fucking ladder when you're 70, go ahead. But we're talking about financial recovering. You getting married to another woman that has another job is not going to get you to financially recover. That's just going to give you another person to have sex with and get married to. That doesn't mean you're going to financially recover. You're actually probably going to be off worse financially for a longer time, because she has needs too. Then do not have kids if you intend to financially recover. So remember, we're not arguing, well, I just want to have kids. Okay, go have them. All right, and pay child support till you're 70. I can't stop you. But we're talking about, I want to financially recover. No more kids. I had to make that too. Oh, damn, I want more kids. But the chances of this working out is slim. It's grim. A big penalty. I'm just about to financially recover. Now I'm on to the second divorce. Now I'm on to child support till I'm 65. No. I chose financial recovery. In my book, The Free Agent Lifestyle, I talked about this. I made the mistake once. I will not make it twice. I want to be a millionaire. My path to being a millionaire trumps everything else. It trumps love, relationships, children, more children. It trumps all of that. And I want to do it for a certain part of my life. And then once I fulfill it, maybe then I can go back and look at it. But, you know, those things become less than, because, listen, people say, well, maybe it would have worked the second time. Maybe it should have worked the first time. Why do I need 2 and 3 times to make it work? And when it didn't work the first time, it sure was painful. All right, so it was a hard lesson to learn. All right, so anything else? Anything else on this one? You guys got to make these hard decisions for yourself, but these are the ugly truths about it. If you want to have deeper discussions about statistics, the statistics are absolutely dismal when it comes to marriage and divorce. I mean, if y'all have time here, median duration of first marriages that end in divorce, barely 8 years. Median marriage during median duration second marriage, barely 8 years. That's 16 years of your life. That's going to be 30 years of financial damage. I mean, terrible. 60% divorces involve people aged 25 to 39. So, you know, you're not going to get, the likelihood of you getting divorced later in life is actually less. It's actually when you're younger. First marriages, first divorce, starter, husband. The average age of couples going through a first divorce, age 30. But coach, we in love. It's different. It's different. There's some other data that I want to give you that I haven't talked about as much, but when I tell you this goes into like political affiliation and all of that. Check this one out. It says, if you or your partner has been married before, if both you and your partner have been previously married, you are 90% more likely to get a divorce than if this has been the first marriage for both of you. So you both got divorced. You marry each other. 2 divorcees marry. You cooked. All right. 90% more likely to get a divorce if both of you guys got divorced. Religious affiliation, 14% less. Wait a minute. If a person has strong religious beliefs, the risk of divorce is 14% less, and having no religious affiliation makes you 14% more likely to get a divorce. That makes sense. Marriage is more religious. But, you know, if you're not religious, you have more likely to get divorced. If you're evangelistic Christian, 26% likelihood that you've been divorced. Catholic, 28%, 38% for non-Christians. So non-religious people quicker to get divorced. Political affiliation, liberal, 37% more chance to get divorced. Conservative, less likely to get divorced at 28%. Moderate, 33%. So as you can see there, the conservatives tend to avoid divorce. Now, here's the thing. When we say divorce, that doesn't mean happy marriage is the opposite of divorce. So just because a conservative or a Catholic stays married, that doesn't mean they're happily married. Divorce simply means legal separation, legal dissolution of the marriage. Now, most people are married, but they're emotionally divorced. So those are harder statistics to even pull up because the statistics of divorce is dismal just on talking about legally. Right? We're just talking about people that went legally on paper, and the numbers are super fucking high. Now, when you just take the people who are emotionally divorced, unhappy, sexless, them numbers can't even be determined as to where they stand in the marriage conversation. How do you even determine what number of people are in this boat? When we say divorce, we're talking about legal on paper dissolution. So you can't determine then what about the rest of people? Where do they stand? Are they happily married? The answer is no. Nope. The answer is they're going through their bullshit. They just didn't get legally divorced. If you live in a red state, you're 27% more likely to get divorced than if you lived in a blue state. Okay, let me see here. There's some other ones right here that should be. Oh, this is a big one. Women who lost their virginity as a teenager are more than twice as likely to get divorced in the first 5 years of marriage than women who waited until age 18 or older. Wow. So promiscuity. Now, y'all, people gonna argue this. Man, don't argue me, man. I don't give a fuck, man. Look, I'm just reading the data. Kiss my whole entire ass with your arguments. Go take a flying leap. I'm just reading it. But this is not hard to figure out. Women who lost their virginity as a teenager are more than twice as likely to get divorced in the first 5 years of marriage than those who have waited until they were 18 and older. All right. It says a study in University of Iowa found that both men and women who lost their virginity before age 18 was correlated with the greatest number of occurrences of divorce within the first 10 years of marriage. So both people's body count mattered, right? When compared to women who began sexual activity in their early 20s, girls who initiated sexual activity at age 13 or 14 were less than half as likely to be in stable marriages in their 30s. I mean, this is not that hard. I mean, you could just look and figure that out. So women that started having sex early, 13 or 14, were less likely to have a stable marriage in their 30s or 40s. This, I mean, come on, bro. Too easy. Women with 6 or more premarital sexual partners are almost 3 times less likely to be in a stable marriage. Women with 6 or more premarital sexual partners are almost 3 times less likely to be in a stable marriage. Okay. Moving down. Because we're going to talk about some kids. See here. If you have a daughter, you are nearly 5% more likely to divorce than if you have a son. Oh, here we go right here. This is it. Oh, this is what I'm talking about if you have kids and the other person has kids. The divorce rate for couples with children is as much as 40% lower for those without children. Okay, half of the children in the United States will witness the ending of their parents' marriage. Half of the kids in the United States will witness the ending of their parents' marriage. Of that half, close to 50% will also see the breakup of the parents' second marriage. I've been telling you this the entire stream. I said that's what you want to avoid, is to have your kids see you get divorced twice. So half of the kids will see their parents' first marriage end, and half of those will see the second marriage end. Jeez, you guys are selfish, man. Selfish. These numbers should put you guys to shame. And then you wonder what's wrong with these kids. When there is as many as 3 daughters, the difference spikes to 10%. Okay, fathers are significantly less likely, 3%, to be living with their children if they have a daughter versus a son. Having a baby before marriage can increase the risk of divorce by 24%. You see here. All right, couples are an astonishing 76 to 95% more likely to get divorced if only one of them smokes. The amount increases when the wife is the partner with the habit. All right, so if the wife smokes, you have a skyrocketing chance of getting divorced. Like smoking, to me, drugs, vape, marijuana is automatic. That's an automatic failure right there. Are you guys enjoying these datas? Are you enjoying this? So if the wife smokes, it's a guarantee. Look at that. Just a slam dunk. If the wife smokes cigarettes, weed, vape, this is a red ass flag. Well, what's wrong with it? Red flag. Just on that addiction alone. But if anybody smokes, it's cooked. That's a big no-no. While couples who both smoke have a bit of a better, let me see right here, have it a bit better. Studies found that 53% more likely than non-smoking couples to end their marriage. Okay, here we go right here. Each liter of alcohol consumed raises the chance of divorce by 20%. That is an easy one. So all of these lushes and winos and alcoholics and mommy wine time and men that drink, alcoholism is going to cook your marriage. Every liter of alcohol consumed raises the chance of divorce by 20%. So drinking, red flag. According to a 9-year study by the University of Buffalo, couples who have similar heavy drinking patterns, either both are heavy drinkers or both are not, are more likely to stay together. All right, so if both drink, you're more likely to stay together. If both don't drink, you're more likely to stay together. However, if one spouse is a heavy drinker and the other is not, there's a 60% chance that you'll get divorced. All right, so that's a bad one. That's unequally yoked. All right, one person drinking heavy and the other not. All right, and I've experienced that. I was not a drinker. All right, so if one wants to drink and the other one doesn't, cooked. There's another data that I wanted to find out right here. Give me a second. Let's see here. There's another one. Let's see here. This had to do with damn, I didn't see it. Uh, 43% of children in the U.S. will be raised without their fathers. Okay, not because the father left. Damn, there was another one related to kids, and it had to do with if your son saw you divorce versus if your daughter saw you divorce. Kind of like the broken home syndrome. So if a woman came from a broken home, what is her likelihood of getting divorced if you marry her? See here. Damn, I can't find it. But it was an interesting stat that shows that like women that come from fractured, broken homes are actually have a worse chance of maintaining a relationship through marriage. All right, because they've already saw it broken up and less likely have had a father. So it goes up, it skyrockets. All right, I can't find it though. See here. Oh, damn. Because it's a good one. It's actually a pretty big determiner of where things go. So if you want to measure what your success rate is, then bear with me. I'm trying to find it. Okay. Having a baby before okay, I already said that one. It's the ugly truth here. I'm trying to give it to you. 90% of divorced mothers have custody of their children. 65% of divorced mothers receive no child support. Okay, here's a good one right here. If a close friend gets divorced, you are 147% more likely to become divorced and 33% more likely if a friend of a friend is divorced, aka divorce is contagious. So you're married and your wife comes in. Hey, my best friend Susie's getting a divorce. Ring the bell. That increases your chance of getting divorced. Why? Because Susie's going to go through the bullshit. She's going to go through the rigmarole. Your wife's going to be there, hearing everything what's happening. And then she's going to come back to your house and it's going to be the bullshit in your house. So divorce is actually contagious. I actually talked about that in another stream. So if a coworker, her best friend or coworker, her sorority sister, whoever it is, her best girlfriend, if she gets divorced, just go ahead and run up the score. Yeah, when Tia Tamara, her sister said, I got to stay away from you because it's going to affect my relationship. When someone, it says right here, when a married person works with someone who's in the process of divorcing, it increases the married person's chance of divorce by 75%. The same study also found that people with divorcing sisters or brothers are 22% more likely to get divorced if a sibling is not divorced. Damn. 60% of people under poverty guidelines are divorced women and children. Woo! 60% of people under poverty guidelines are divorced women and children. So this is what I talked about the financial self-deletion when women file for divorce. 60% of people under poverty guidelines are divorced women and children. And why do we give women 90% of custody goes to these women. I mean, insane what we do to people, man. And then all y'all got, what about love, coach, and God under marriage and all this shit. All this shit is absolutely a farce, a disgrace. I can't find that one statistic. But, yeah. Anyway, let me get to the super chats. That's the ugly truth right there. It's bad, isn't it? Bad, bad, bad. Bad, bad, bad. All right, let me get to these super chats, man. Thank you for sitting there, and I'm going to go get some rest. I don't even know how I'm going to do it. How am I going to do the show tomorrow? I need some content. Yep, kids getting dragged into poverty. I mean, but y'all do this, and y'all will claim love conquers all. And it's a dramatic failure out here. So I've done it once, and I said, that's enough. All right, I'm not just going to keep doing this. All right. Let's see here. Somebody has a question here. Okay. Oh, okay. You're okay. Oh, so you were the person talking about. Okay, I get it. So, yeah, I wouldn't get into any mudslinging. All right. No mudslinging. So I know you want to try to ruin her or get revenge, and that's what she's doing. But when you wrestle in the pig, when you wrestle in the mud, all right, you mess up. I can't even remember. There's a quote. But don't get into any mudslinging and shit like that, because it really isn't going to help you in the long run. And she is what we going to call, she's going scorch earth. So when she goes scorch earth, she don't even care about herself. All right, so try not to do anything to try to ruin her professionally. It really ain't going to help you in the long run. In fact, find some guy you hate and actually try to get them married. That'd be way more positive energy than trying to ruin her. Yeah, if you wrestle in the, what is it? The pigs enjoy you. Yeah, the pig likes wrestling in the mud. Don't wrestle in the mud with these people. Just use the court, use the system, and win. Scope says, welcome back, coach. Fire rant, free agent lifestyle for life. Shout out Dark Sound Foundation says, I feel no guilt with any individual trying to shame me into marrying or proposing to women that I'm with. He says, all that saving, investing, discipline, legacy, and hard work is squandered because of an unhappy woman. I'm not happy. He says, if they want us back, repeal the no-fault divorce. Shout out to you. Rick from H-Down says, pissed me off when my ex-wife would suggest counseling. I was not about to set myself up for a 2v1. Yep, listen. If you want to go to marriage counseling, go. I would tell you, don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. She's not there to resolve your marriage issues. She's there to get a referee for your marriage issues. Okay, so marriage counseling is a waste in that manner. This is just my opinion. All right, you can do it if you want. All right, but she's not there to resolve your issues. She's there to get a referee and get a referendum of what's wrong with you. So you're going to get blindsided more likely than not. And let's just say the counselor puts her in check. She gonna fire the counselor. She's not going to listen to that counselor. Shout out to Rick from H-Town. Family courts don't give two issues about fathers. Laws won't ever change until the laws affect the women and the women start complaining, which could happen in America. Never underestimate that. Now, it won't happen anytime soon, but the more women that are going to get screwed over in family court, the more women will get the laws changed. Pro Man says, ever notice that when you cheat on a woman, she's a jilted woman it's a verb, but if she cheats on you, you're a cuck, a noun. Basically, no matter what, it is your fault, 100%.
And it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault.
Yes, it's your fault. All right, so, yeah, that's the thing about marriage. It is going to be your fault. So, I don't know what to tell you. All right, shout out to Jamal says, what do you think? Why do you think divorce increases in red states, but conservatives are less likely to get divorced? I did read that, which I was confused. Maybe I misread it. But I did read that, and I was quite confused. I was like, wait a minute. If you live in a red state, Republican state, you are 27% more likely to get divorced than if you live in a blue state. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So maybe that's an inaccurate statement. But false in unos is false in omnibus. Puckman says, divorced for 10 years. I never got remarried. Best decision I made. I see pompous dudes making this mistake all the time. About to pay my last child support this year. Daughter going to college, to a funded college. Actually in Vegas tonight, coach. Yo, shout out to you, man. Congratulations, brother. Your future self is thanking you right now for not getting remarried. And, you know, somebody asked if I married a sister, if I got married again, would I marry a sister? Dude, I ain't marrying nobody. But when it comes to race, I mean, you're more likely to get divorced if you marry a black woman. So, shit, I can even make it work with a non-black woman. So, guess the fuck what? Okay? All right. I certainly, you know, black women is, I mean, it don't matter. You know, you marry a black woman, you going to get divorced like a motherfucker. And black women tend to be overwhelmingly liberal and Christian. So I'm cooked, all right? I'm cooked all around. I'm not good marriage material, number one. And I'm certainly not good marriage material for black women. I mean, we are not compatible. We're not compatible. And it ain't nothing to do with preferences. First of all, I ain't on no mumbo jumbo victim charade. The bitch gonna have to be Candace Owens type shit. All right, so if she ain't that, it ain't gonna be, because I can't marry a liberal. I'm not a liberal. I can't marry a Christian. I'm not a Christian. So if she's those two things, I'm cooked. All right. It's an automatic L. All right. That's gonna be it. All right. So it ain't gonna work. The data shows you it ain't gonna work. She a Democrat. I'm not. Cooked. Or these women are more likely to be Democrat, liberal, and what? And Christian. So them all three are cooked. There ain't no way that's gonna work out. Christian and liberal. Anyway. So there's no compatibility there. All right. Most of them, she gonna be a Kamala Harris supporter. Automatic divorce. And she a pro-black. All right, everything that happened, she pro-Britney, black. All right, I actually dated a sister one time, and she was motherfucking, anytime something happened and a black person was doing it, she got to talk about it. Oh, you know, Beyonce made a country album. So fucking what? I ain't going to listen to it. Like, what do I care? I don't even listen to her regular shit. You know, we came up with country music. Man, I ain't got no time for this shit. I ain't worried about this shit. You know they don't like her because she a black woman doing country. Can we talk about something else? You're irritating me. This is irritating. Anytime a black quarterback do something, I'm pulling for that motherfucker. What's the dude's name that ain't never gonna win a Super Bowl in Baltimore? Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson and his mama, they got a good, serious relationship. You know she his agent. I'm pulling for him. Lamar go win the Super Bowl. I don't give a fuck if he win the Super Bowl. He ain't gonna win the Super Bowl, first of all. He ain't gonna win. So let's just get this shit off the table. All right, but why are you talking about Lamar Jackson? Do you even watch football? Like, what are we doing? Like, I can't stand them pro-blacks. They always take them, like, you know, the Washington Redskins got a colored quarterback. You know he doing good. So what? I ain't care about the Washington Redskins. All right, I don't care about him. Like, why are you worried about it? Like, I'm sitting there watching every black quarterback. Oh, we celebrating because the black quarterbacks won. I don't give a fuck. I saw the Detroit Lions kicking ass. They got a white quarterback. I didn't even give a fuck. So I don't care. All right. I'm like, I can't stand that constant, Simone Biles. So, man, shut up. She the greatest of all time. It's just too much. I'm like, too much just like worried about this little shit here. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Okay, but just so if you're new here, Lamar Jackson will never win the Super Bowl. All right, I've said this for years. He's never going to win. All right, just to let you know, I'm on record. Now, last year, he had me scrambling and scraping for shit. All right, but... right? So, but I've been on the record for a good 4 years now of saying he ain't going to win. Now, every year he's in the Super Bowl. In the playoffs. So every year I got to ride off at least 2 weeks of like, oh, shit, he going to ruin my record. But he's never going to win. All right, just so you guys know, you guys can relax. He's not going to win the Super Bowl, all right, in his career. But I wish him luck. I'm not hating the guy, but he's not. All right, just to let you know, it's just not going to happen for him. I'm not hating on him. He just doesn't have the tools to be a championship Super Bowl quarterback. It's just not in the cards for him. All right, anyway. All right, but I'm on record of saying that for several years, so I want everybody to relax. Well, it's because he black. It's not because he's black. It's just the way he plays. It's just the way he plays. Like, if I was a wide receiver, I would be pissed. I'm going to run these routes, all for you to stand back there and scramble for shit. Right? I don't want to play wide receiver for this ninja. I'm about to run all my shit and do all my steps and pivots and shit and do all my turnbacks and my double looks and wait for that back shoulder fade for this ninja to be running around there back in the backfield, sliding 8 yards down the field. All right, but I ain't trying to do all that. Look. All right, I'm lining up like this so I can... All right. He got Derrick Henry right now. Hey, man, shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. Let me see what your path is. I know, man. Look, the Raven fans are pissed. Yep, all the underthrow me and shit and throw at my kneecaps. All right, throw all on the outside. Shout out to Lamar Jackson, man. Hey, look, I'm not hating on the guy. All the Raven fans are going to be mad. Guys, he's not going to win. Look, the Ravens fans mad. He's not going to win. He's a great regular season quarterback. He's great. He's got good film. He's nice. He just don't have it, though. He just don't have it in the big moments. In order to win, you got to show up big. Like, all right, anyway. The Ravens they're mad, though. He's good. He's great. He'd be great for your fantasy team. He just can't. He ain't gonna win it. He ain't gonna win it. All right, and then you got Patrick Mahomes. They gotta beat the Chiefs. All right, let me look at the AFC. He not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. All right, anyway. Did I get everybody? Nah, I'm pissed off Baltimore. And shout out to Sam says, I will not be paying child support and alimony in my 60s or 70s. I would rather be vacationing with Kaylee than to be sitting in my nursing home connecting to a divorce hearing on Zoom trying to find the volume button to hear how much they taken from me. What's your thoughts? Facts. Who wants to be doing that? Who wants to be doing that, man? Nobody wants that. But a lot of you guys don't realize that's what you're signing up for. You're signing up for that. You're signing up for that by trying to beat this percentages out here, all right, and get married. Let me see here. If Baltimore is in the AFC Championship, I'm gonna definitely be watching. All right, but Gennaro Tranquillo says, "Hey, coach, you hating on my QB? put a big head 100 on it to win the Super Bowl. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Hold on. Let me see something here. I know I'm supposed to be getting some rest. Let's look at the AFC playoff picture. I'm going to look up. I don't even know who's playing who in the playoffs. Playoffs? All right, hold on for a second. Let me get this shit off my screen. All right, let's see who the Ravens have. What's the matchups? Ravens, the number 3 seed. Okay, that's positive for them. That's positive. So the 3 plays, let me see. Is a 1 get a bye? So we're going 2. Give me a second here. So we have Ravens and Steelers. All right. Is that correct? Does that sound about right? Ravens and Steelers. Maybe I have that wrong. Let me see here. I got Ravens and Steelers, but I might have it wrong. I'm going to give you CGA's breakdown real quick. All right. We'll do it live. All right. So we got Ravens, Steelers on... Man, okay, at Baltimore, Pittsburgh really backpedaling into the playoffs, losing like, 4 in a row? Sheesh. All right, so let's say the Steelers lose that game. They'll be a high seed, and they will play possibly they wouldn't get the number 1 seed, so they would avoid Kansas City in that situation. That's assuming then Houston, Texas, and the Chargers. They would probably get the remainder of Kansas City right there. Then they got to go to Buffalo. Oh, no. Buffalo, Denver. So you're looking at Buffalo Bills and the Ravens. Second round. That would be the next round. Buffalo Bills and the Ravens if both people win. You would have to get the who to beat the Buffalo Bills? The Broncos? I don't think that happens. Buffalo looks good there at Buffalo. Then you have Buffalo versus the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens get out of there. Okay? I don't think the Ravens get out. But let's just say the Ravens then beat them. They got to beat possibly the Kansas City Chiefs. That would be ideally. So they're going Steelers, Buffalo, Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl. Without a bye. Y'all got Denver over Buffalo. Okay, I mean, I don't know. Well, that would be the best case scenario for the Ravens. So you will play Pittsburgh, Denver, and then Kansas City. That's actually pretty promising for the Ravens. Because I'll take Denver over playing Buffalo in Buffalo. I don't know. The Ravens got a tough draw there. The Ravens got the Chargers going to beat Kansas City. Okay, stop. But shout out to them. This sounds interesting there. So, yeah, Ravens would have to beat those 3 to get to the Super Bowl. And then I think the NFC is the tougher conference right now. But they got 4 teams that can win the Super Bowl. So that's where the NFC, then Baltimore's got to beat either the Vikings, the Lions, where they got to beat the Vikings, the Lions, or the Eagles. Or the Packers, who the Packers were looking good until their receiver went out. So the Pack looks good. That's an underrated team. Then I got to beat the Vikings or the Eagles or the Lions. Nah, bruh. Nope. Nah. All right, so we'll put it up. Who do I have 100 on? Dinero Tranquillo. So he's got to win the Super Bowl this year. Ravens, that's going to be tough for the Ravens to win, man. I don't know. All right, anyway, that's enough bullshit today. I'm going to get some rest. All right, shout out to the Coach Gang. Hit the like button. Peace.